missing teenage girl, which ended in the revelation of her passing. It is reported that Olebogeng was found partially decomposed and still wearing her school uniform, which had visibly been tattered. Standing before this august house and bidding condolences to lives that have been cut short by animalistic behavior in a norm we cannot get used to. Heartbreak does not begin to describe the pain felt by a parent whose child was killed, possibly raped, and discarded like something with no value. Femicide is a vicious crime. As a EFF, we mourn with the family, friends, schoolmates, and community of Olebogeng. We extend the most heartfelt condolences and wish them the warmest comfort during these troubling times. For Olebogeng, we echo the words of the poet Dylan Thomas when he stated that death shall have no dominion, as her name will always be counted with those who intensified the revolt against GBVF in Northwest and South Africa. I encourage Northwest community to register to vote for the upcoming local government elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Matuani. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Chief Whip.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
No, thanks very much, Madam Speaker. I think we, as the African National Congress, we support the motion without notice and condolences to the family, but we also condemn the ravage of gender-based violence, and we do agree and concur with the motion, except the portion of voting for the party. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Danji, do you want to respond to the motion?
Yes, please, Madam Speaker. I could not raise my hand because my hand is already up for my motion without notice. Can I proceed?
Yes, proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We also concur with the EFF in this motion. Indeed, it's very sad, it's very painful. But we want to assure our people that the government is working together, the DSD, the Education Department, and our police are working together in this regard, and they are with their family in these trying times. The visit of both three departments to the family have given them comfort and hope to the government of the Northwest. But we also want to say to our communities, whoever that have knowledge of what have really happened, because thus far, nobody knows, nobody saw our beloved child from the school. We want them to come up and brief the police in terms of what might have seen happened after the poor child left the school. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Danji. Honorable Sonti, your motion.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I hereby rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters to table a motion without notice, sending our condolences for the passing of a lady who was found deceased around 5:45 a.m. in Klerksdorp this past Friday on the 5th June 2026, following what is alleged to have been a dog attack. Honorable Speaker, SAPS and SPCA identified and euthanized 8 dogs from a nearby residence after a lady who was approximately 30 years of age was found deceased by a passerby who was on his way to work. No eyewitnesses have come forward, and the lady had not been identified yet by 2 p.m. yesterday on the 8th June 2026. The EFF stands with the community of Klerksdorp, who now live in fear as a result of the tragic nature of this attack. We plead that anyone who may have any information on the incident approach Klerksdorp SAPS or leave their anonymous tip on the SAPS app. Lastly, we urge dog owners to be vigilant and mindful of pedestrians around their dogs and when exercising personal safety, which includes, but it's not limited to, ensuring that the dogs are safely enclosed in their yards. In our attempt to stay safe from rampant crime, we equally have a duty to protect one another. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sonti. Does any member wish to respond? None. Honorable Danji, your motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to table a motion without notice lauding the collaborative efforts of the police from various specialized units whose diligent investigations led to the arrest of Uridirile Musapa in connection with a double murder case linked to 2 missing persons reported at Hebron. On the 2nd of June 2026, a multidisciplinary team comprising members
Honorable
from Hebron
Danji.
detectives.
Honorable Danji.
Madam Speaker?
Yes, I thought I read out to all of you the rules of being on hybrid. And consistently you are not adhering. I thought you will adhere because for the first
I'm trying, whilst I'm speaking, Madam Speaker, I'm also trying to show my face, but.
No, the rules are rules. Order.
I know, Madam Speaker, I know, but I'm saying maybe I can come after the next person. Let me try to see how I can. Thank you, Speaker. Let me try.
Try to show your face, just show your face, and then you'll continue talking.
What I'm saying, Madam Speaker, is that I'm struggling with my gadget. Maybe I can come after the next person. Let me try. I'm trying. As I was speaking, I was still trying. Oh, let me try the phone, but that means I must log in with the phone. Madam Speaker, if you allow me.
Honorable Lehari, your motion.
But the person there, can they show my face?
Honorable Danji, I read the rules because if you've got a difficulty, it's clear that you're supposed to have come to the house. I cannot make exception to rules. Rules apply to all of us without exception. With due respect, Honorable Member. Order. Honorable Lehari, your motion.
Where is the photo?
Honorable Lehari, your motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to pass our condolences to the families of the 9 who lost their lives during a car crash in Provincial. A head-on collision involving a minibus and a manganese-laden truck left 9 people dead and several others in hospital on the past Friday morning. The minibus collided with the truck on the R500 and R42 roads. The preliminary reports from the Road Traffic Management Corporation, the RTMC, revealed that the minibus with 13 occupants was traveling along the R500 from Forgeville towards Paris, while the truck was heading in the opposite direction on the R42 between Potchefstroom and Vanderbilt Park. The reports allege that the truck failed to stop at the Stop Street intersection, leaving the minibus no time to avoid impact. The collision claimed the lives of 6 males and 2 females, among them a young girl, while 5 survivors were left with serious injuries, while 1 more person died in hospital. The ANC maintained that driving under the influence of alcohol, speeding, cell phone usage while driving, not wearing seatbelt, dangerous overtaking, pedestrian negligence, and driver fatigue are part of major cause of road accidents. The African National Congress urges our commuters to always be vigilant on the road and continue to follow all road and safety protocols. We wish a speedy recovery to those admitted to hospital. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Harry. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Mwema.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As the EFF, we join Honorable Hari in sending the sincere condolences to the families who lost their loved ones, and those who are in hospital. We also wish them a speedy recovery, and also we are sincerely asking them to keep strong. We know it's not easy, but at least they must try. And also encourage residents, not only of the Northwest, but also nationally, to observe rules of the road, to also comply with the laws, because we are losing many people on our roads. It's a concern. Much as we understand that our road infrastructure at times also contributes greatly to these road accidents that are taking place. However, we are saying our people must remain patient on the road, observe rules of the roads, and make sure that at all material times they are compliant, and also their cars are roadworthy. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mwema. Honorable Steenkamp.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I actually was part of the traffic jam at that accident. I wasn't aware what happened. So we would definitely like to add our condolences to the families and the drivers specifically. Madam Speaker, but what we would like to add also is that not only should we look at texting while driving, driving under the influence, we really should be urging motorists to be more vigilant, especially when there's crossings. And then we would further like to urge the relevant departments to please ensure that those kind of dangerous crossings, that the road markings are painted, that the stop signs are erected. Because when we do drive on roads that we don't know, that also increases the chance of accidents. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Steenkamp. Honorable Danji, your motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for indulgence. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the...
Honorable
No,
Danji. Honorable Danji.
Again, my apologies, Madam Speaker, old age maybe.
Okay.
Humble apologies.
Continue.
Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to table a motion without notice lauding the collaborative efforts of the police from various specialized units whose diligent investigations led to the arrest of Rudiril Mosapa in connection with a double murder case linked to 2 missing persons reported at Hebron. On the 2nd of June 2026, a multidisciplinary team comprising members from Hebron detectives, breast crime intelligence, the breast Rio tax team, and other role players were tasked by the Bojanala Sub-District Office to assist in the investigation of 2 missing persons cases reported at Hebron police station between May and June 2026. Upon investigations, a person of interest was traced in Isuseng, and the police discovered physical and other evidence that warranted additional inquiry, leading to the activation of the Tshwane K9 search and rescue unit, who accompanied the investigators to a bush area between Kabalatsane and Madidi, where police discovered a shallow grave. Crime scene investigation experts were summoned to process the scene, where 2 bodies were discovered from the grave and subsequently exhumed as part of the ongoing investigations. Our manifesto instructs us to provide a safe living environment for the people of this province, and it is evident in the work of being done by the police that we have adhered to protecting the lives of our people. That means the African National Congress is indeed at work. Our most sincere condolences go to the families who have lost their loved ones. We remain committed ensuring that perpetrators of such gruesome and heinous crimes face the harsh hand of the law. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And we also want to appreciate the work done thus far by the MEC Arrest Mokgosi. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you,
Speaker.
MEC. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Mwema.
No,
Honorable Kodisang.
Honorable Speaker, we wish to express our grave concern that every sitting we must come here talk about people who have killed other, civilians. And this is concerning that all the time we must come and talk about how we're arresting, as if that must be applaudable, as if we must commend that work. Of course, it's a good work that is done. However, we never come here and ANC government tells us that they've prevented crime, they've intercepted crime before it happens. All the time, it should be them reacting. So it's a reactionary government. They are not proactive. There's nothing that they do before any crime can actually happen. So it can't be correct. Many people are dying. All the time, we must come here and be told that we have arrest. There's nothing plausible about arrest. When he came in here as an MEC arrest, we thought that he's a young man with fresh boots and he was going to tighten up, but it's not tightening up. He's just living to the name of arrest. There's nothing plausible about that. You must start preventing crime before it happens. You must intercept, you must have intelligence on the ground. We believe that SAPS in the province, they have intelligence unit that must intervene in some of these things wherein they detect crime before it even happens. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Kodisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As we note the work that is done by the joint forces in this province towards prevention or arresting perpetrators. And we are also noting that the ANC, the security forces under the ANC are really noted to be doing their job, as alluded just now. But we are saying, as Action SA, the very same efforts that are done or were done with those cases, the recent cases, must also be applicable to the murder case of Senganga Tato Molosangwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Stienka, your motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I hereby move without notice that this House notes that June is recognized globally as Pride Month, a time to celebrate diversity, inclusion, and equal dignity of all people, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. Further notes with concern that many LGBTQI+ persons in South Africa, across Africa, and around the world continue to face discrimination, violence, hate crimes, and social exclusion simply for being who they are. Recognizes that South Africa's constitution is founded on the values of human dignity, equality, and freedom, and guarantees every person equal protection before the law and freedom from discrimination. Welcomes the principled stance taken by South Africa's delegation at the 4th African Interparliamentary Conference in Accra, Ghana on 5 June 2026, where South Africa abstained from supporting the proposed African Charter on Family, Sovereignty and Values, because certain provisions were inconsistent with the rights and protections enshrined in our Constitution. Affirms that constitutional rights are not subject to popularity contests, cultural prejudice, or political convenience, but exist to protect every citizen, especially those who may be vulnerable or marginalized. Notes with concern that in many parts of Africa, discrimination based on sexual orientation persists, while women and girls continue to be denied equal opportunities, protection, and empowerment. Believes that governments should be focused on expanding the rights, the freedoms, and the opportunities of all people rather than restricting them. Condemns all forms of hate crimes, violence, intimidation, and discrimination directed at the LGBTQI+ persons, and reaffirms South Africa's commitment to building a society founded on human dignity, equality, freedom, tolerance, and a respect for diversity. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Steenkamp. Any member wish to respond? Honorable Nkupa,
Yes,
you want
Speaker.
to respond?
Yes, Speaker.
Who's calling me?
It's Honorable Makhakhane.
I don't see you on the platform.
And Honorable Danchu.
Oh,
Honorable
okay, you
Makhakhane.
can see me now?
Yes, continue.
Okay. Speaker, as the African National Congress, we agree fully and wholeheartedly with the Democratic Alliance on South Africa's stance not to sign a discriminative law. What we also need is that this letter is not publicly available, nor can you download it, nor is it on any papers of the African Union. And the Interparliamentary Network on African Sovereignty and Values, rather than an official organ of the African Union, has never assigned this document number or uploaded it as a public treaty database. The text has internationally been kept offline and circulated privately at a closed-door government summit in Accra, Ghana, as has been alluded by Honorable Steenkamp. So it is important that as South Africa, and especially much so during Pride Month, that we should keep up our stance and we should actually promote human rights at
Your
every
1 minute
turn.
is gone. Your 1
And
minute
we'd
is
like to
done.
thank Mozambique for standing with us. Thank you.
Honorable Danji, you wanted to respond?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Indeed, as the
Show your
African
face.
National,
Show your face.
Eish. Indeed, Madam Speaker, we also, as the African National, concur with the motion put before us, because every person, including members of the LGBTQ plus community, deserves respect, acceptance, and equal opportunities, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. We believe that June 16 reminds us that the freedom is for all and equality is for all. All of us, we belong to South Africa. We must reject discrimination and promote respect, inclusion, and human dignity for all, including the LGBTQ, as we continue to support one another. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. Honorable Lunkupani, your motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the of the African National Congress to table a motion without notice. No, a motion. To table a motion without notice condemning in the strongest possible terms the brutal and senseless acts of violence that claimed the life of Mr. Mbuti Tlas Marumohai and another man in Freiburg, and another violent act that left women seriously injured in the Lesopa location in Ottosdal. These painful incidents are yet another reminder that violence, particularly domestic and interpersonal violence, continue to rob our communities of peace, dignity, and human security. As the ANC, a movement rooted in the defense of human rights, equally and we reaffirm an unwavering opposition to all forms of violence against women, children, and all vulnerable members of the society. The ANC extends its deepest condolences to the bereaved families and wishes the injured women a full and speedy recovery. We commend the SAPS for the swift response and arrest made in both matters, and we call for thorough investigation and speedy finalization of these cases so that justice must prevail. We therefore call on all communities in Freiburg, Ottosdal, and across the Northwest Province to stand united against violence and reject silence in the face of abuse, and to work with law enforcement agencies in exposing perpetrators and protecting victims. The ANC remains resolute in advancing a society founded in justice, dignity, and freedom for all. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Does any member wish to respond? None. Honorable Walwon, your motion.
Thank you, Speaker. Agbare Speaker, as Demokratiese Alliansie wil ons graag vra dat hierdie agbare huis sy gelukwensing en waardering uitspreek aan die Noordwes Kinderkoor, gesetel in Potchefstroom vir hulle uitstaande onafhanklike prestasies in die bevordering van jong talent in koormusiek. Sedert hulle stigting in 1992 het die koor internasionale erkenning verwerf deur optredes in Noorwe, Hong Kong, VSA, Oostenryk, Frankryk en Duitsland, waar Noordwes en Suid-Afrika met trots verteenwoordig is. Hulle selfstandige model van borgskappe en gemeenskapbetrokkenheid toon ware volhoubaarheid. Ons vra dat hierdie huis om hulde te bring aan hulle nalatenskap en ook om hulle verdere sukses toe te wens in hulle multikulturele ontwikkeling van jeug, dissipline, leierskap en musikale uitnemendheid. Ek stel so voor, I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Walwon. Does any member wish to respond?
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Mutsumi.
Show your face. Show your face, Honorable MEC. You can't drive.
I'm not driving, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable
Can
MEC.
I? No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I thought that is going to be appropriate based on the arrangement made to say that this sitting must be hybrid. We know the standing rules, we know what
the Speaker. The Speaker.
Wait, Honorable MEC, Honorable Mwema.
Thank you, Speaker. A motion was tabled by the ANC that there are road accidents and so forth. So we are much worried about other motorists who might be involved in accident as a result of the MEC. That is irresponsible, actually, very irresponsible. And she's continuing to speak, even when you are reprimanding her, that you can't participate in a meeting while in a car or in a moving car. So now we must sit here to a determination of whether a car is moving or not moving. A fact remains that she's visible, she's in a car. So why must we debate that? What precedents are we setting? We are leadership of the society. Let's set an example.
Honorable Mwema is fine. Honorable LGB, I will read out to you our rules. Honorable MEC, I will read the rules to you. Participant in visual meeting while in a moving car, whether driving or not, and whether presenting or debating or not is prohibited as this compromise the network connectivity and safety. You can't be in the car, honorable member. The least you could have done is to order. I'm the only speaker here, presiding officer, and I'll take a decision on a matter. So, Honorable Speaker, Honorable MEC, if you want to debate or say anything in the House, you can't be in the car. You would rather be in an office or in a room, not in the car. The car is prohibited for participation. Does the House adopt these motions? You want to move for the question?
Honorable Speaker.
Hold on.
There's a hand of
Honorable Mwema.
Thank you, Speaker. Can I plead with you, Speaker? The MEC, when you said she must not speak while she's in a car that is moving, she said the car is not moving, and the sound were clear that the car was moving. So clearly she's misleading Parliament. So can the Honorable Speaker investigate? Can Honorable Speaker investigate this matter? And a decision must be taken. There must be a sanction on what this Honorable Member did. You can't lie publicly before this Parliament and it becomes business as usual. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Can I investigate, guys? Yeah.
Honorable Speaker.
Can I see the person who's speaking? Can I see the person who's speaking?
It's MEC Mukua, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Mukua.
Honorable Speaker, I would really implore on yourself to consider me for a motion because the link that...
You are late. I made it clear in the last sitting. Honorable members, I was generous for a very long time. In the last sitting, I made it very clear. If by the time I recognize people for motion, you are not there, unfortunately, I won't recognize you. Unfortunately, Honorable Mukua, I can't recognize you.
It's okay, Honorable Speaker. I'll take it up with the Chief Whip
No, thank
because
you very much.
I have communicated with the
Honorable
Chief Whip's
Mukua,
office.
Honorable
Thanks.
Mukua is fine. Does the House adopt these motions?
Yes.
What do you want, Honorable Dabampe?
Yes, even mine in absentia.
No, thanks,
Yes, Speaker.
I was saying interpretation here was not working, if it can be attended to, because I couldn't hear the last statement. Thanks.
Okay. Honorable Walwon. Honorable Walwon.
Yes, Speaker.
I think you were correct to speak your language, but the members here couldn't hear anything because I'm not sure what is happening. The interpreter was not on duty. I'm not sure. So they couldn't hear the interpretation from the House. If you don't mind, are you able to maybe interpret it in English so that if members want to contribute? If you don't want, it's okay. It's your right.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay.
Shall I continue?
Yes, in English.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, as Democratic Alliance, we would like to ask this Honorable House to give their blessings and waardering, their favorable appreciation. Thank you, Joni. To the Northwest
What is happening
Children's
today?
Choir.
Hold on. Members, I leave for a week, I come back, things are abnormal here. What is happening? Can we be in order? Can we be orderly? I said, Honorable Walwon, if you are unable to speak in English, is fine, because Afrikaans is also allowed. But if you think you can interpret it in English to allow the members to hear what your motion was all about, is fine. But there's no need for Honorable Steenkamp to give you English weight. If you are unable, let's stop here and adopt the motions.
Let's stop.
Motions are being adopted.
Okay.
Are there any notice of motions? Are there any notice? None. Secretary, may you read the next order?
Order number 3, statement.
No, Speaker. Speaker.
Can I see who's calling me?
Speaker.
Can I see the person who's
Speaker.
calling?
My hand is up.
Can you show your face?
It's Honorable Makhan.
Yes.
It's Honorable Makhan.
Yes, Honorable Makhakhane, can you show your face?
Okay. Can you see me? Okay. Right.
Can you show your
Okay.
face?
Can you see me, Speaker?
Can you see your face?
It's here, Speaker.
We don't see you.
My video is on, Speaker.
But we don't see you. I'm in the house.
Now?
I'm having a gadget. We are looking on the screen. If it was my gadget alone, I'll understand. But even in the house, nobody can see you. Unfortunately, the rules are rules, Honorable Makhakhane. If we can't see you, you can't speak.
Like it is on, Speaker.
But it's not showing.
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's IT, because on this side,
now
you
we
can
see
ask.
you. Okay, continue speaking. We can see you now.
Oh, okay, all right. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress in terms of Section 107 to table a motion with notice calling for the House to debate the urgent review of the Obsolete Fencing Act number 31 of 1963. This act, enacted in a completely different social-economic era, making it entirely unfit for the challenges of a modern South African transport network and rural economy. The act in its current form fails to clearly define, enforce or penalize landowners, both private and state, for neglecting the maintenance of perimeter fences along major provincial and national arterial roads. As you know, Honorable Speaker, on the 4th of May, I became a victim of these failures of legislation.
Honorable Makhakhane,
Yes,
is it a notice of motion?
Yes.
So I hear you going on and on. I thought you'll just table the heading of that motion and then we recognize it and then it will definitely go through the order paper.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Any other notice of motion? Notice of motions will be put on the order paper for debate as per the legislature program. Thank you very much, Honorable Makgakane. We are now on statement. Can I see show of hands on statement? Statement. Online statement. Makgakane, you have a statement or is a legacy hand? Honorable Makgakane?
I have a statement, Chief. Speaker, sorry about that. Thank you.
Honorable Walwon. Make sure you interpret it already, Honorable Walwon, to English.
It is English. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Honorable Kodisa, you have a statement? Okay. 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 Yeah. On the platform, I can only see Honorable Makgakane, Honorable Walwon. Any other member on the platform that I'm missing? Thank you. I hope I've captured you well all. On the platform, I want to make sure so that you don't come later. I have Honorable Walwon and Honorable Makgakane. Any member that I've left on statement on the platform? None. In the House, I think I'm fine. If I didn't see you clearly, I will definitely recognize you. Honorable Kuno, your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to table a statement welcoming the launch of the long-awaited HIV prevention injection, lenacapavir, that took place on the 5th of June 2026 in Secunda, Mpumalanga. The groundbreaking initiative marks a significant milestone in South Africa's ongoing efforts to fight against HIV/AIDS and aims to enhance prevention of new HIV infections. The injection has shown a near 100% effectiveness in previous trials. As ANC, we commend the 1.3 billion allocated to drive the rollout, with the first phase targeting 360 clinics within 24 districts, and to be focusing on high-risk groups such as adolescent girls, young women, and pregnant mothers. Lenacapavir is administered twice a year as a long-acting injectable option for HIV prevention. The rollout highlights the collaboration involving the government, civil society, and private sector, and development partners, all of whom are committed to ending HIV as a public health threat by 2030 in South Africa. Whilst lenacapavir offers protection against HIV, it does not shield users from other sexually transmitted infections, STIs. Additionally, there are non-curable but treatable lifelong viral STIs such as APV, HSV, which are very common STIs but have serious implications on the health of our people. As an ANC, we call on all communities to make sure that whereas we embrace this advancement within our health sector, we should all continue to take care and be responsible for our health. Practicing safe sex, knowing your HIV status, taking charge of your health is key, because you only have one chance at life, and it is all up to you to ensure that you live a healthy and prosperous life. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kuno. Does any member of the executive or premier wish to respond? Member of the executive? Thank you. Honorable Sonakile, your statement.
Thank you, Speaker. I hereby move on behalf of the I hereby make a statement on behalf of the DA that the House notes that June is internationally recognized as Men's Health Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about the mental health challenges faced by men and boys. Many men continue to suffer in silence due to societal expectations that they must always be strong, unemotional, and self-reliant, often discouraging them from seeking help when they are struggling. Men are often reluctant to report experiences of depression, anxiety, trauma, abuse, loneliness, and other mental health challenges for fear of stigma, ridicule, or being perceived as weak. Many men who are victims of abuse, violence, or other forms of trauma often do not come forward because of societal pressures and harmful stereotypes surrounding masculinity. The consequences of untreated mental health conditions can be devastating for individuals, families, workplaces, and communities. True strength lies not in suffering alone, but in having the courage to seek support when needed. The DA calls on government departments, educational institutions, employers, community organizations, and civil society to promote mental health awareness, improve access to support services, and create an environment where men feel safe to speak openly about their struggles. The DA encourages all South Africans to challenge harmful stereotypes surrounding masculinity and to foster a culture in which men and boys are empowered to seek help without fear of judgment. And we must use Mental Health Awareness Month as an opportunity to remind all men that they are not alone, that their struggles matter, and that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sonakiri. Does any executive member wish to respond, or the Premier?
Yes, ma'am.
Honorable Danji.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As the African National Congress.
You are doing it again.
Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Indeed, we concur with the statement as the African National Congress, and that's true. In most of the instances, many men appear to be strong, even when they are under tremendous pressure, especially after the COVID-19. There's a saying in Setswana that says, "Monna o shwela mo pelong." We really want to discourage that, as we agree with the statement of the Democratic Alliance, and call upon all men in South Africa, especially in Bokoni Bophirima, to say that the social development through our Retuse program, working together with our social workers, we are more than ready to intervene and to take them through our centers. We invite all men who are under pressure or any other situation, they must visit our centers, and our NPOs will come handily working together with our social workers. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Danji. Honorable Makgakane, your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to table a statement commending the swift response of our social workers in providing trauma support to families following a tragic accident that claimed the lives of 2 learners and the driver in Mamusa. The accident occurred on 20th May on the road between Swaziland and Amelia, where the private vehicle in which they were traveling allegedly collided with a bakkie. As the ANC, we commend our social workers for their professional and compassionate response in providing trauma counseling and psychological support to the learners, parents, and educators at Roshanville Primary School during the period of bereavement, and also acknowledge the work done by Honorable Danji and to also give extra support. As the ANC, we join Roshanville Primary School's principal Itumeleng Morolong in expressing our heartfelt appreciation to the Department for Deploying Social Workers that are committed to supporting schools and communities during such difficult periods of grieving and mourning. We sincerely appreciate our social workers for the dedication, their time, resources, and expertise in providing much needed support in a form of trauma counseling to the learners and parents during a bereavement. This unwavering commitment to the well-being and dignity of individuals reflects a true spirit of service to humanity and the ANC's resolution to provide social security for all. Through Tusa flagship program, the department remains committed to providing comprehensive and integrated psychological support services to vulnerable individuals, families, and communities across the province. The intervention underscores the importance of role social workers play in helping individuals, families, and communities to cope with trauma, build resilience, and begin their journey towards recovery during times of crisis. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Does the Premier or any member wish to respond? MEC
Madam
Panjin?
Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Indeed, as a department, Madam Speaker, we are very much humbled by the words of appreciation from the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and the principal of the affected learners, working together with the Department of Education and the community at large, contributed also to the work done by our social workers. As you know, Madam Speaker, and this House, that we are under pressure as a department with the Society of Social Workers. Gestures like this really motivates them to continue doing a good work, even if they are not equal to assisting everybody. The interventions underscores the important role social workers play in helping individuals, families, and communities to cope with trauma and build resilience and begin the journey towards recovering during the time of crisis. We will continue to intervene in such communities and schools. So it's not just an offer one day. We'll continue to work with them, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. LGB? LGB?
I'm here, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join and appreciate the words by the MEC responsible for social development for emphasizing in this particular statement that the efforts were collective. We are collaborating as both the departments. So it is very important when honorable members are tabling statement to gather all the facts so that when they table the statement, they make sure that all the information that is needed to be tabled in this particular platform are being tabled. So mine is to join the MEC of Social Development that we as the Department of Education, we will continue to work together. We are one government. Our responsibility and our core mandate are very clear and straightforward. And once more, thanks also to the Department of Social Development for joining hands with us during difficult times. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, LGP. Honorable Matuani, your statement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters to table a member statement to expose the complete collapse of governance and financial management at Tshwane local municipality under the leadership of the African National Congress. The people of Tshwane have become victims of an ANC administration that has mastered corruption, incompetence, and internal factional battles while abandoning its constitutional responsibility to serve the people. The municipality has become a symbol of state failure, where workers are not paid on time, basic services have ground to a halt, and communities are expected to survive under conditions of neglect and humiliation. Honorable Speaker, it is unacceptable that a municipality cannot procure diesel to provide basic services. It is unacceptable that workers who dedicated their lives to saving the municipality must wait months for salaries while politicians continue to enjoy privileges and comforts. It is unacceptable that communities must live without reliable water supply while millions are squandered through financial mismanagement. Tshwane was placed under administration in 2021 and subjected to a financial recovery plan. Yet, 5 years later, the municipality is in a worse condition than before. It is undeniable proof that both the provincial government and the ANC leadership have failed dismally. The so-called intervention have produced nothing but reports, meetings, and empty promises, while the suffering of our people depends every day. Premier Lazarus Mokgosi and the MEC responsible for local government continue to speak about 10 municipalities around, but their words are meaningless when workers are not paid and communities remain without services. They cannot claim to be fixing local government when local government itself is collapsing under ANC leadership. The real victims of this disaster are ordinary residents. It is the municipal workers who cannot buy food for their family. It is the mother who cannot provide for her children. because salaries have not been paid. It is a pensioner who waits endlessly for water. It is a young person who watches opportunities disappear because of the failures of an incapable government. The EFF rejected the normalization of this crisis. We reject the continued looting and destruction of municipalities by the ANC. We reject the exploitation of workers who are expected to work without dignity of receiving their wages on time. We therefore call for immediate accountability for all those responsible for the financial collapse of Tswai local municipality. We demand urgent intervention to ensure that workers are paid, services are restored, and those responsible for this crisis are held personally accountable. Most importantly, we call on the people of Tswai to use the upcoming voter registration weekend to prepare for political change. The only way to end the suffering imposed by the ANC is to remove it from power and place the future of Tswai in the hands of a government that serves the people, not political factions and corrupt elites. The people of Tswai deserve dignity. The people of Tswai deserve services. The people of Tswai deserve economic freedom in our lifetime. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Machwani. Does the Premier or any member of the executive wish to respond? Honorable Nkopani?
Mulapisi, Speaker.
Oh, Honorable, I didn't see your hand, Honorable Mulapisi. You can come in, and Honorable Nkopani, you'll follow.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My network is poor, so I'm switching on my video so that you can see me and switch it off again if that is permitted.
You are still doing well. Continue.
No, thanks very much, Speaker. Let us remind the member that whatever information that is presenting here, that she is presenting, is as a result of our intervention. We intervene in Tswai local municipality to unearth the rot that is being experienced there and the poor service delivery to our people. So the information that is being presented here is as a result of the investigation that we have conducted, where we are taking both the administrative and the political leadership to task and hold them accountable. So we can't be opportunistic. Whilst the ANC government has acted, and then we come here in the platform and try to challenge the leadership or the rule of the ANC as if we are not doing anything. To us, Chair, we are fixing local government. It's a decisive action that we have taken. Had it not because of our own investigation, the member would not have this information. So
your 1 minute is up.
Thank you. Where we are okay.
Your 1 minute is up. Honorable Nkopani, you want to respond? Honorable Musenuchi? Oh, you were quiet. You want to respond?
Yes, thanks, Honorable Speaker. I just want to join the Honorable Member in condemning the services of any local government sphere that does not put the people first, but also to indicate that it will be wrong of her to come and mobilize people to vote for EFF and join her on the upcoming registrations whilst our people are suffering, and to remind her that Tswai is a collective municipality which is made up of different political parties, including her party, and I'm begging her that she must at least not be part of that collective so that we see improvement, and join Honorable Mulapisi on the other content. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mutsumi. No, sorry, Honorable Musenuchi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We do acknowledge the challenges that in Tswai local municipality, and hence it was put under mandatory intervention. We have recalibrated our response in terms of the financial recovery plan, and we've already introduced a PER because in the past there was no consistency in terms of the provincial EXCO representative to implement the financial recovery plan. And we will be reinforcing the PER with the team that must address all the challenges in terms of the different pillars of the FRP. And we are confident in terms of the report that we have received from the PER that there are improvements in terms of the expense expenditure. The contract management committee, cash flow management committee has been in place and resuscitated so that we address all major challenges that has surrounded the municipality being under administration. And primarily what is the focus is to restore also service delivery to our people, and we are still committed, and we plead that we must join hands and that all political parties that are represented in Tswaying must fully embrace and support the intervention. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Sonti, your statement, sorry.
Dibonge Somlomo, I hereby rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters to table a member statement regarding the Department of Agriculture's provincial offices that were closed by the Department of Labor about a year ago for not complying with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Yet no real progress has been registered in renovating the building to date. Honorable Speaker, the Agri Center served as a known and severed location for agricultural matters of the province. However, it has since been closed down in order to devise a plan for legislative compliance with occupational health and safety laws. Our concern, Honorable Speaker, is that it has been almost a year and the department is silent regarding the building or any renovations that are ongoing. It must be emphasized that the operation of the Agri Center is essential for members of all communities who rely on it and have since been left without any guidance on how to proceed in obtaining access to the services that it once provided. A year is a very long time to devise a plan, present it to the Department of Labor and commence with renovations. At this point, significant progress must have been registered and a definitive timeline should have been provided for when staff will be allowed to return to the offices and the services our people once relied upon will be restored. It is in the interest of our people that the Department of Agriculture provides the necessary clarity in the spirit of our accountability and transparency. We urge Honorable Sambata to provide a detailed account of what the department has done regarding this matter since the closure last year and when services will be restored. Our people cannot continue to be led in the dark. Dibonge Somlomo.
Thank you, Honorable Sonti. Does the Premier or any member of the executive wish to respond? Honorable Lunkupane, I see you are on. Do you want to respond?
Yes, Speaker, let me put Ms. Onti to the information that says 7 days after the closure of those offices, the Premier convened and declared the matter as urgent and referred it to Public Works, which is the custodian of issues related to properties that are leased. And as I speak, Honorable Sambata might not be here, but he has long attended to that matter to look for alternative accommodation. It will not only mean it is accommodation when it is at the Agri Center. I think Honorable Mokgosi is joining me on that. Thanks.
I'm not sure. Honorable Mokgosi, are you? Yes, you can come in.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think it suffices to say that that particular building of Agri Center, if one has to give synopsis of where are we currently, is that the Department of Public Works and PIC, we have finalized the assessment and the costing of reparations thereof. And I think we have finished the costing to Department of Treasury, but it can be recorded in the legislature as if the officials of the Department of Agriculture are not working. They are given an alternative office as it is, and I think the department has also communicated with the stakeholders as to where to get access of them. But I must say that we are on course as far as reparation of that particular office is concerned, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Walwan, your statement.
Thank you, Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise for the Democratic Alliance to urge decisive action to strengthen arts, culture, sport and recreation across the Northwest, never as an optional extra, but as a core pillar of social cohesion, youth development and local economic development. Our communities are rich in talent and tradition, yet many artists, clubs and community organizers struggle for basic support, safe venues, reliable funding and clear pathways from grassroots participation to sustainable livelihoods. The DA's plan of action for a capable state is clear on this. Build a criminal justice system that works so that corruption can be exposed and rooted out. Account for every rand spent, interventions must deliver measurable outcomes. These are not luxuries when you build healthy, safe, and united communities. As the DA, we demand the following. Small grant funding for community arts projects, ring-fenced with quarterly reporting on enrollment, completion, and jobs created. We insist on a rolling maintenance and upgrade program for municipal sports facilities with asset maintenance proportional to actual usage under asset register custodians. We call for a provincial-led skills pipeline linking schools, artists, and sports clubs to accredited training methodologies via TVET and CETAs. A streamlined budget with transparent processes limiting bureaucracy. Measures must be practical, cost-effective, and anchored in the following principles. A capable provincial government, a social market economy, decentralizing economic power, non-racialism through opportunity for all, collaborative implementation. I call on the Northwest Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation to co-design criteria with local stakeholders, publish a 3-year measurable plan, prioritize projects for community reach, youth engagement and financial stability. Let's measure success not by number of events, but by participation, improved facilities and pathways for youth into training and work. With a modest, well-targeted and transparent governance, local creativity and sport turn into engines of social and economic renewal. The time to act is now. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Walwan. Does the Premier or any member of the Executive wish to respond? Honorable Shapi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me thank Honorable Walwan on the statement, but I think Honorable Walwan, if I can take you to the programs that we are having as department, we have just advertised for the partnership with local stakeholders. We are doing this because the budget for department is not too much. And then on the issue of the small ground and the sports facilities, we are working together with our municipalities, together with the Department of Public Works. So all the programs that you have indicated, they are there in the Department of Arts and Culture. On the maintenance issue, we have already started with Mabato Stadium. If we can go there, you'll see that we are doing it in phases due to the budget constraint. But the programs that we have alluded to, we do have them in the department. And Madam Speaker, I can clarify the programs.
Thank you very much. Honorable Moema, your statement.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. No, I think I'm Nagil.
All right, thank you. Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Musa Khotla. I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to take a statement in support of the recent address by the President of the country, His Excellency President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, on the urgent and complex matter of illegal immigration. As the ANC, we affirm that undocumented migration is not merely an administrative challenge, but a matter with serious implications for national security, social stability, and economic and sustainability. Undocumented foreign nationals, particularly when they remain outside the legal and regulatory system of the Republic, create vulnerabilities that state cannot ignore. These vulnerabilities include the exploitation of porous borders by the criminal networks involved in human trafficking, drug smuggling, document fraud, and other illicit activities that undermine public safety and weaken confidence in the state institutions. In this regard, the ANC supports stronger and more effective border management measures, not as an act of hostility, but as a necessary function of any sovereign nation committed to protecting its people, its resources, and its territorial integrity. These concerns must be engaged seriously, responsibly, and without prejudice. The ANC rejects any attempt to turn legitimate public frustration into vigilantism, mob justice, or lawlessness. The enforcement of immigration laws is the responsibility of the state and its law enforcement agencies, not private citizens or self-appointed groups. We must remain firm in opposing xenophobic violence and any form of collective blame directed at foreign nationals. South Africa's democracy was built on human dignity, equality, and justice, and these principles must guide our response even when we act firmly against illegality. Labor inspectors are being deployed in greater numbers to address the exploitation of undocumented workers, which not only violates labor standards, but also distorts fair competition in the labor markets. These interventions are essential if we are to protect both vulnerable workers and law-abiding employers, while restoring order to sectors that have become susceptible to abuse. The ANC supports the broader overall of South Africa's immigration system, so that it is modern, efficient, and aligned with the developmental needs of our country. This includes proposal for a points-based economic migration system, stronger digitization with the Department of Home Affairs, and tighter enforcement of asylum and residency regulation. This matter demands seriousness, unity of purpose, and leadership that does not surrender either to denial or division. We must secure our borders, uphold our laws, protect our public resources, and defend the dignity of every person within our borders. That is the balanced and principled position of the African National Congress. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Does the Premier or any member of the Executive wish to respond? None. Thank you very much.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Danji.
Oh, okay, I'm there now. As we concur with the statement, Madam Speaker, because indeed, Madam Speaker, the address by the President was very much balanced, because it's very much important to make sure that effective migration policies should balance the national security, economic development, and human rights. And indeed, we support the Honorable Chief in condemning whoever that might want to use what the President have said negatively just to show faces and for political gain. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. I will now move to executive statement. Does the Premier or any member of the Executive wish to make an executive statement? Can I take hands? Honorable Mosenofe. Honorable Nkupane, Honorable Mutsumi. On the platform, I have recognized Honorable Nkupane and Honorable Mutsumi. Any other MEC that I've never recognized? It's only those two hands. Thank you, Honorable Mosenuchi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Executive, led by the ANC, to move and submit a statement to congratulate 46 students who completed their diploma in agriculture, were conferred on the 6th June 2026 at Taung Agricultural College. And education remains an apex priority for the ANC-led government in the province and the people of South Africa, which is an organizing and coordinating body providing skills for the country. We therefore take pride to congratulate graduates. We commend their unwavering commitment and dedication throughout the academic year to achieve more. The agricultural institution is the only one in South Africa offering a dedicated diploma in agriculture irrigation, accredited by Council of Higher Education and Training. The NQF Level 6 program equips students with niche water smart farming skills vital for sustainable food security. I once again reiterate and confirm my compliments on behalf of the executive to the Taung Agricultural College and all achievers. I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Sonakile.
No, thanks very much, Madam Speaker. I think we must commend the good work that is being done by the executive, especially the MEC for Agriculture, but the collective of the executive on this achievement strides around your irrigation skills program, because Taung specializes in the irrigation skills development program. And now we are starting to see provincial government through Honorable Premier repositioning Taung Agricultural College actually in making sure that our young people are skills, and then there'll be opportunities for them to participate in the mainstream of the agricultural sector. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Sonakile.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, the DA also joins in to congratulate the students and Taung Agricultural College for producing the students. However, we are in difficult times, Speaker, whereby while we used to celebrate graduates a long time ago, lately things have changed. Every time when we see a child graduating, we know that the real struggle begins, the struggle for work. And it's a pity, government is not even talking about whether these students will be consumed into the workplace or what. So there seems to be no plan for them. So they are simply joining thousands of multitudes of other graduates who have graduated with no hope. We pray that government will come forward with a plan for such students that they have assisted in studying to also ensure that at least they get employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sonakile. Honorable Lungupani, your statement. Honorable Lungupani, your statement. Honorable Mutsumi, your statement.
Oh, there comes it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Department of Economic Development, Conservation and Tourism has commenced an intensified program to improve waste management compliance across all the 18 municipalities of the Northwest Province. Now, Speaker, this intervention follows a clear directive by the Premier of the Northwest, Honorable Mokgosi, during his State of the Province address, where he called on this department to play a more active role in supporting municipalities to address waste management challenges. It also responds to the concerns raised by South African Human Rights Commission regarding the impact of poor waste management and illegal dumping on the health, dignity, and environmental rights of our communities. This department has already concluded the technical engagement with municipal senior management through the organized municipal and MEC engagement together with the mayors, paving the way for the next phase of implementation. It is important to note that engagement of municipalities is as a result of a coordinated Section 154 support program aimed at improving compliance and fundamentally changing the state of waste and waste management. Through our Matlakala ke Zaka campaign, Speaker, we are promoting waste separation, recycling, environmental awareness, and the growth of the waste economy. The schools, the environmental ambassadors, and community environmental clubs are already becoming active partners in this program. This intention will reduce illegal dumping, improve municipal compliance, protect the environment, and unlock economic opportunities across the waste value chain, creating opportunities for youth, women, and persons with disability. Waste is not waste, Speaker. Through Matlakala Zaka, waste is wealth, waste is opportunity, and waste is a catalyst for economic growth and environmental sustainability when well managed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Sonakide.
Thank you, Speaker. The DA welcomes the action by government to finally tap into this issue of waste management. We actually want to applaud the MEC that at least finally something is happening. However, Speaker, there's one thing that the MEC is not saying, and that's not coming forth from government, and that is consequence management. When the Human Rights Commission had to intervene, it is because residents were tired of the way waste management has been dealt with. So there's nothing that government is talking to the fact that poor waste management leads to failure to enforce Section 24 of the Constitution, and that it is also a contravention of the National Environment Management Act. So we really are waiting to see whether there will be any criminal liability, as the law says that where municipalities are failing on their duty, there must be consequences. Until then efforts that the MEC is talking to becomes just another talk that we are used to in this province. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sonakide. Honorable Mutsumi, your statement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to acknowledge and commend the successful hosting of the provincial launch of the Representatives Council of Learners, RCL, by the Northwest Department of Education from the 29th to the 31st May 2026 at Woodlands Country Lodge. A total of 108 learners representatives from the 18 local education offices across the province participated in this important program together with the department officials. The launch served as a platform to strengthen leadership development among learners and to promote their meaningful participation in school governance. Honorable Speaker, the program focused on critical issues affecting learners and schools, including the functionality of RCLs, strategies for creating safer schools, challenges experienced by learners, leadership structures, discipline in schools, and the role of RCLs in promoting positive school culture and advancing the vision of their respective schools. The Provincial Council of Learners elected the following learners to serve on the 2026 Provincial RCL Executive Committee. The President is Angelina Mokoena from Ikatisong Secondary School in Litlhabile Township, Bujanala District. Deputy President is Kaho Sibetwane from Ramotsiri Secondary School in Dinokana Village, Ngakamudiri Mulema. Secretary Rendani Simanga from Gore School, Hartebies in Hartebies, Bujanala District. Deputy Secretary Klassen Inrik from Promosa Secondary School in Pochiskum, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda Treasure. Atulile Mhlongo from Gore School in Okni, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Public Relation Officer Kaya Matuani from Sabo Secondary School in Kokomeng Village, Dr. Rusukomuti Mumpati. Additional member Tomamo Lwabile of Kismet Secondary School in Freiberg, Dr. Rusukomuti Mumpati and Kumalo Bonolo from Pakedi High School in Mukhola Village, Ngakamudiri Mulema. Honorable Speaker, the newly elected president of the Provincial RCL, Ms. Angelina Mokoena, indicated that the committee intends to focus on issues affecting special schools and the improvement of school infrastructure across the province. She stated that her plan for this term is to focus on special schools, and she will definitely ensure that learners with special needs receive the resources and support they require. The committee will also prioritize improving school infrastructure, but their immediate priority is to secure a meeting with the MEC Mutsumi to map out a way forward. Honorable Speaker, the MEC of the Department of Education, I congratulate the newly elected Executive Committee and encourage all learners to continue embracing leadership opportunities. And I would like to congratulate all the learners who have been elected to the leadership of the Provincial RCL. I'll also encourage those who were not elected not to lose hope. Their opportunity will come, and some of them will pursue studies as tertiary institution next year. I so move, Honorable Speaker. Apologies.
I was getting worried that I was demoted when I was away. Thank you very much, MEC. Does members wish to respond to the statement? Honorable Sonakile.
No, thank you, Speaker. I stand to support and congratulate those learners and also to congratulate EXCO and the department for that initiative. However, Speaker, that is a very good statement on the work that government has done. The only sad thing about that statement is that we are on the segment today or now as this sitting where we are taking EXCO statements and then the MEC stands to do an ANC on behalf of an ANC. So she did not draw the line there because I doubt that she achieved the launch of the RCL in her ANC cap and t-shirts, but she did that on behalf of government as the ABC. However, we do support the statement as it speaks to learner empowerment and leadership development. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Sonakile. Thank you very much, honorable members. We now, Secretary, may you please read the next order?
Order number 4, announcements, tablings, and committee reports.
Honorable members, reports have been tabled through the ATC and referred to the relevant committee for scrutiny and further processing. Committee reports were also tabled through the ATC. Does the House adopt the committee recommendation as the House resolution?
Yes.
Yes, Speaker. Yes, Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, honorable members. Members, the committee recommendations are now resolution of this House. Secretary, may you read the next order?
Order number 5, debate on Youth Day.
Honorable members, the month of June has been declared the Youth Month by the Democratic South African government following the end of apartheid in 1994, with June 16 specifically designated as a National Youth Day, which is commemorated annually to observe and honor the youth of 1976. I now call on Honorable MEC Tlhapi to lead the debate on the Youth Day. Honorable Tlhapi, you have 10 minutes.
Madam Speaker, Kiabonala.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Mayor Dr. Desbo Muhono, Deputy Speaker Ntate Colin Maine, Honorable Chief Whip Mayor Mutalepule Hosho, Chair of Chairs Mete Bohomudise, Honorable Premier Ntate Kagiso Mokgosi, members of Executive Council, members of the Legislature, leaders of political parties and civil society formation, members of media, receive my humble and sincere salutation. This year, Madam Speaker, marks precisely 50 years since the youth of 1976 refused to accept an oppressive, broken system. The violent and fearless young people stood at the forefront of the liberation struggle on the 16 June 1976, rejecting the imposition of Afrikaans language as a medium of instruction in schools. Afrikaans was not just another language, it was a language of oppression, a coercive act of being taught complex subject in a language Black student neither fully understood nor identified with, placed Black student in a very serious disadvantaged position. Forcing Black students to learn and be taught in Afrikaans was an attempt to silence their voices, to limit their opportunities and control their thinking. Education, which should have been a tool for empowerment, was instead used by the apartheid government as a tool to further oppress and control the Black marginalized group. The Bantu education system was designed deliberately to keep Black students in an inferiority position. Schools were underfunded, schools were overcrowded and lacked resources. The curriculum did not aim to develop critical thinkers or leaders, but to prepare students for lives of manual labor and servitude. Young people recognized that they were being denied not only knowledge, but also their dignity and future. The oppressive apartheid system controlled every aspect of life, from where people could live to whom they could associate immigration law and tackle corruption and close policy loopholes as part of broader effort to address illegal immigration in South Africa. Speaker, what student leaders like Tebogo Mashinini, Khotso Seatlholo, Hastings Ndlovu, and Ton Mantada did in organizing a mass demonstration that ultimately transformed our nation was a necessary part of South Africa's liberation struggle. This phase of the struggle was defined for those who came before the 1976 generation in a foundational document called the Freedom Charter, which articulates a vision for a democratic and non-racial society. The adoption of the 1955 Freedom Charter and the 1976 Soweto Uprising are significant milestones in South Africa's journey to attaining freedom and democracy. These unique circumstances are inspired by the shared vision of freedom and equality for all. Freedom Charter remains a pillar of our constitution. It influences the political, economic, and social climate of the country. The Freedom Charter demands that the people shall share in the country's wealth. It further demands that all shall have rights to work and that the doors for learning and culture shall be opened. These Freedom Charter demands are not only an honor to the youth of 1976, but signifies the Charter's commitment to job creation and youth employment, equal access to quality education, skill training, entrepreneurship, and economic inclusion for young people. In this regard, the 2026 Youth Day Reset at 50, the future calls. We honor the legacy of 1976 while advancing economic inclusion for all young people is a more relevant theme to the current phase of the struggle confronting young people, because the theme compels us to reset and place young people at the center of economic inclusion and development. Madam Speaker, our freedom and democracy remain incomplete without the full and meaningful inclusion of young people. It remains incomplete if young people are not actively represented in the decision-making processes of this country. It remains incomplete if young people are not empowered with the necessary tools, with opportunities in respect of the higher education. Madam Speaker,
You have muted yourself. Unmute yourself. You have muted yourself. MEC, you are muted. Honorable MEC. Yes. You are left with 4 minutes. I wonder if you are done or what should happen. Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC.
O dirile sentle ngwana Messi.
I will now, I don't know what is happening with the MEC because she switched off the camera. She is muted. I move to the next speaker. She still have 4 minutes. You have 4
Madam
minutes.
Speaker,
You are out of order, MEC. You are out of order.
I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. Sorry, I think it's my gadget. I'm so sorry. Can I continue?
You have 4 minutes. You must be done in 4 minutes.
No. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. It's fine. I will respond to others when I close the speech. Let me just go straight to the issues, Madam Speaker. Below is the report on the achievement against the target. We said we have Madam Speaker.
LGB, this is unacceptable at all. This is unacceptable. When you know you are debating, you're supposed to be in the house so that you don't have the hiccups like these ones. I don't think it's correct, MEC, that you should subject us to this torture. It's uncalled for. Your time is running. You are left with 3 minutes. I'm not sure. And that's why always we are reminded when you are debating, make sure that you are in the house so that you avert any eventuality of you encountering any problem.
I apologize, Madam Speaker. It won't happen again. I don't know what is happening. I apologize. Can I just...
Finish your minutes. You've got 2 minutes to go.
Okay, Madam Speaker, despite the growing number of youth unemployment in the Northwest Provincial Government, the Northwest Provincial Government has made considerable progress in rolling out socio-economic progress in advancing the lives of young people. Government has spent 28% of its procurement, which is at the value of 874 million on youth-owned business. The provincial youth employment statistics is at 24, with the provincial treasury, education and health leading in the youth employment creation. In 25-26 financial year, 72 young people were approached for the office of the Premier through the Victor Tebese Fora bursary, and they have all achieved attended to the bursary. The Department of Health, Madam Speaker, provided 30 young people with funding to study medical-related fields in Cuba through the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro program. 48 youth businesses were assisted with the machinery and equipment after being trained on business management skills by Department of Economic Development. Madam Speaker, as I wrap up, the vulnerability of young people continues to be exploited in acts of criminality, including the involvement in the recent xenophobic attacks against African national. Unemployment must also be recognized and addressed as a national disaster. Yet it must never be manipulated as a justification to mobilize young people against fellow Africans within our borders. Young people must no longer be used as a pawn in their destructive agendas. Instead, they must be placed at the center of our nation's development. Empowered, they must be supported and equipped to drive economic growth and achieve their own emancipation. It is only by investing in their potential and ensuring their meaningful participation that we can secure a more inclusive, just and prosperous future. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I apologize for that.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Mwema, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Maybe first we must reject that apology because this is the amount of young people. So to bring an old and frail person to come and debate issues of young people, they appear here wearing blankets and all those things. They appear disorganized and disorientated. So clearly we are not going to accept that apology as young people. We're not happy with what happened. Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportune moment, Dr. Mohono, and greet you, the Premier Lazarus Mokgosi, Leadership Collective of the EFF, led by Justice Dabampe, fellow members of the Legislature, officials and support staff of the Legislature, security guards and cleaners of the Legislature, residents of the Northwest Province, good morning. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters as we commemorate the Youth Day under the theme Reset at 50, the future calls. Honorable Speaker, this theme sounds inspiring on paper, but it is meaningless in the lived experience of millions of young South Africans. It is meaningless to speak about the future when an entire generation has been abandoned by the ANC-led government that promised them freedom, dignity, and opportunities. It is difficult to answer the call of the future when the present has become a prison of unemployment, poverty, hopelessness, and despair. Honorable Speaker, Dr. Mohono, I should wish to begin this debate by borrowing from a pivotal chapter of The Ratchet of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. Fanon, in the chapter The Pitfalls of National Consciousness, neatly argues that each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its own mission, fulfill it, or betray it. Youth Day is a reminder of the bravery and sacrifice of the youth of 1976 who confronted the brutality of the apartheid regime and rejected the oppressive Bantu education system. They stood against injustice because they believed that education will become the key to liberation and that future generations will inherit a better South Africa. Yet 50 years after the June 16 uprising, we are forced to ask a painful question. What future is calling the youth of the Northwest Province? The answer is heartbreaking. Across our province, thousands of young people wake up every morning with no prospect of employment, no access to quality education, and no meaningful opportunities to participate in the economy. The dream that inspired the youth of 1976 has been replaced by frustration and hopelessness. The slogan, "Reset at 50, the future calls," becomes useless when the majority of our youth cannot even see a future for themselves because they are trapped in cycles of alcohol abuse and drug addiction. Not because this is the life they chose, but because this is the consequence of a government that has failed to provide opportunities, jobs, recreational facilities, and hope. Honorable Speaker, when young people have nothing to do, nowhere to work, and no responsibility of furthering their education, the streets become no possibility of furthering their education, the streets become their classrooms, and drugs become their escape from a painful reality. Substance abuse has become one of the greatest enemies facing our communities, destroying families and robbing the youth of their potential while government watches from a distance. The ANC government cannot separate itself from this crisis. It has failed to create an economy that includes young people. It has failed to create employment opportunities. It has failed to invest in youth development programs, sports facilities, art centers, and productive spaces that could keep young people away from drugs and alcohol abuse. Honorable Speaker, it is in this province where young people are confronted with additional barriers even before they can step into the university spaces. At institutions such as Northwest University, many prospective students are required to pay application fees simply to apply for admission. This becomes yet another financial obstacle for unemployed households and working class families, where even the dream of applying for higher education is already burdened by poverty. How can we speak of equal access to education when the first step towards this opportunity is already monetized and excludes the poorest of the poor? Honorable Speaker, in the heart of this struggle, there is a young man named Thabo Mokoena. Thabo was born in Freedom Park in Rustenburg to a domestic worker mother and a father who worked irregular shifts at the nearby mine. Despite growing up in deep poverty, Thabo remained determined. He walked long distances to school, studied under candlelight, even when electricity was unavailable, and overcame repeated setbacks to pass his matric with good results. His teachers called him a symbol of resilience, a young man destined for great things. Today, Thabo sits at home with his matric certificate, unable to move forward because he cannot afford the application fee required to apply at the Northwest University. His dream of studying engineering has been reduced to silence, not because he failed, but because the system placed a price tag on his future. The legacy of inequality has simply taken a new form under the ANC-led government. Young people are unemployed not because they lack talent, skills, or determination, but because the economy has been deliberately structured to exclude them. In rural villages and township communities across the Northwest Province, survival has replaced development and poverty has replaced ambition. We must also confront the failures of local governance that continue to affect service delivery, job creation, and youth development. When municipalities fail, it is young people who suffer first and suffer the most. Without investment in skills development, infrastructure, and youth-owned enterprises, we are simply reducing apartheid inequalities and we are simply reproducing apartheid inequalities under democratic governance. Across the Northwest Province, the pain of youth unemployment is not an abstract statistic, but a lived reality visible in Ikageng, Joburg, Kuma, Tlhabane, and many other communities where young people possess qualifications but remain excluded from economic participation. Their hopes are constantly tested by hunger, joblessness, neglect while government celebrates slogans that bears no resemblance of their reality. In this context, that we must speak honestly about political responsibility and the need for change. The youth of South Africa must organize, mobilize, and vote for leadership that prioritizes their lived realities. The economic freedom fighters has consistently positioned itself as the political home of young people by demanding economic freedom, quality education, land ownership, and meaningful employment opportunities. As we approach the local government elections on the 4th of November 2026, the youth must recognize the power they hold in shaping their future. Voting is not simply a democratic right. It is a weapon against unemployment and hopelessness. Young people must refuse to remain spectators in their own suffering. They must organize, mobilize, and register to vote for change that reflect their aspirations and demand a government that works for them rather than against them. The struggle of the youth did not end in 1976. It continues today in the fight for education, dignity, employment, and economic freedom. Young people of the Northwest Province, I therefore call upon you to take your future into your own hands by ensuring that you are registered to vote ahead of the upcoming local government elections on the 4th of November 2026. Register in your numbers, verify your details, and commit yourself to participating in this democratic process. In this house, if this house says reset at 50 future calls, then we must respond by saying there can be no future while millions of young people remain unemployed, addicted to drugs and alcohol, excluded from education and abandoned by the very government that promised them freedom. The future will only answer when you vote for the economic freedom fighters, because it is the only organization that will bring economic freedom, social justice, sustainable opportunities for youth. Honorable Speaker, I should wish to challenge the youth to draw courage from Stephen Bantu Biko, Muntu Mieza, Tiati Mashinini, and many other struggle Matthias. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, in July 1996, Tiati Mashinini's mother, Nom Kita, who was detained for 197 days, testified before the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that the police will come, open wardrobes. They wanted to find Tiati under the beds, under ballpoints, under a watch, searching for Tiati, and Tiati will never be there because he will never come. He will never come. With those words, as young people, we should bear in mind that it is not yet Uhuru. The struggle continues. I thank you and good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mwema. I will now call Honorable Sonakile, 9 minutes. You forgot the rope, Honorable Sonakile. We suspect it from the University of Wisdom.
Speaker, I wear this graduation gown today in solidarity with the many graduates who remain unemployed despite their hard-earned work and qualifications. It is a reminder that while education remains a powerful tool for change, our task as a generation is to ensure that qualifications are met with opportunities. As we debate with the theme, Reset at 50, the future calls. Let us remember that the future cannot truly answer its calling, while so many young graduates are still waiting for their chance. Speaker, Dr. Mohono, honorable members, and the young people of Northwest, every year on Youth Day, governments gather in halls and stadiums across South Africa. There are speeches, there are banners, there are hashtags, there are commemorative events, and there are politicians who speak passionately about the youth before climbing into luxury vehicles and returning to offices where decisions affecting young people are postponed until another day. The speeches change, the slogans change, as you have heard with MEC Tlapi with the charters that she spoke to in her speech. The sound systems becomes louder, but for millions of South Africans, the reality remains exactly the same. The CV remains unanswered, the application remains pending, the internship never materializes, the job never comes, and hope slowly disappears. Today, as we commemorate the courage and sacrifice of the youth of 1976, we must ask ourselves an uncomfortable question. If the youth of Soweto returned today and walked through the streets of Mahikeng, Jouberton, Ikageng, Taung, Khanyisa, and Rustenburg, will they recognize the freedom we celebrate? Or would they ask why, 50 years later, so many young people remain trapped outside the economy they were promised would belong to them? Would they ask why graduates sit at home while vacancies funded remain unfilled? Will they ask why opportunity is too often reserved for the connected instead of the capable? Will they ask why government continues to launch plans while young people continue to wait? Because, Honorable Speaker, a young person cannot eat a charter. A young person cannot eat a strategic framework. And a young person cannot build a future on a turnaround plan. A young person cannot support a family with an implementation strategy. Young people need jobs, not presentations, not conferences, not summits, but jobs. We surely cannot be remembered only as the generation of AI, TikTok, and unemployment. Honorable Speaker, the youth of 1976 fought against political oppression. The youth of 2026 must fight against economic exclusion. Their struggle was for political freedom. Ours must be for economic freedom. But let me be clear about the kind of economic freedom we seek. Not the economic freedom of slogans, not the economic freedom of politicians dressed in designer labels while masquerading as communists and socialists, not the economic freedom of Gucci revolutionaries and champagne communists who speak endlessly about poverty while living lives far removed from the poor. It is not the economic freedom of fiery speeches that create headlines but never create jobs. The economic freedom we seek is simple: a job, a growing economy, a fair opportunity, a government that rewards merit, a government that creates opportunity instead of dependency. That is real economic freedom. Honorable Speaker, the statistics paint a devastating picture. Today, youth unemployment in South Africa sits at 46%. Nearly 5 million young South Africans are unemployed. Millions have given up seeking employment altogether. In our province, the expanded unemployment rate has repeatedly exceeded 50%. Think about that. In many communities across the Northwest, there are more people without work than there are with work. That is not merely a statistic. That is a generation waiting to start their lives, waiting to support their families, and waiting for opportunity, waiting for government promises to become reality. Government often tells young people to be patient. Patient for what? Patient for another 5-year plan. Patient for another task team, patient for another summit where unemployed young people are invited to discuss unemployment with officials who have never experienced it. The youth of South Africa have become experts in patience. They patiently stand in queues. They patiently submit applications. They patiently wait for responses that never arrive. They patiently listen to promises every election cycle. The question is this: when will government become impatient with failure? When will government become impatient with unemployment? When will government become impatient with corruption? And when will government become impatient with municipalities that continue to fail young people year after year? Because the truth is that young people are not unemployed because they are lazy. They are unemployed because economic growth has stalled. They are unemployed because investment is not coming. The investment summits in Northwest have not really turned into real, tangible outcomes that can be felt across the province by young people. They are unemployed because merit has often or too often lost to political connections, and that is why cadre deployment must be rejected. A young graduate should not need political connections to secure work. A young professional should not need a party membership to advance. A young entrepreneur should not need proximity to power to access opportunity. South Africa belongs to all who live in it, not only those connected with the governing party. Honorable Speaker, perhaps the most honest unemployment statistic in South Africa is not found in Statistics South Africa report. It is not found in a quarterly labor force survey. It is not found in a government dashboard. The most honest unemployment statistic is found at every government in Bizo and community meeting. Think about it. Government calls a meeting at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. The hall is packed. Government celebrates community participation. Government celebrates public engagement. Government celebrates the turnout, but I see something very different. I see a province crying out for jobs, because in a growing economy, people are at work at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. In a thriving economy, people are building businesses at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. In a successful province, young people are too busy creating wealth to fill community halls during working hours. The packed halls that government celebrates should actually be an indictment of government. They should be a reminder that too many people have nowhere else to be. Nowhere else they are required to be. They are not a sign of success, they are evidence of desperation. Honorable Speaker, last year the DA marched for jobs in the Northwest. We did not march because it was politically convenient. We marched because unemployment is the single greatest threat facing our generation. We marched because young people deserve more than speeches. We marched because government cannot continue treating unemployment as a talking point instead of an emergency. A memorandum containing practical proposals was handed over and accepted on behalf of Premier Mokgosi by MEC Mogoeng. We called for policies that would attract investment to the province. We called for a better approach to the support given to small businesses and entrepreneurs. We called for measures to reduce barriers to job creation. We called for a government that places merit ahead of cadre deployment. We called for agency. The memorandum was accepted. The agency was not. The response was promised. The response never came. The crisis remained. The unemployment queues remained. The hopelessness remained. Honorable Speaker, today I want to challenge the youth, because while government must account, young people must recognize their own power. Too many young people have convinced themselves that politics do not matter. Too many complain on corners, taxis and street corners and social media while standing in unemployment queues. Yet election day arrives and they stay at home. The youth of 1976 fought for the right to shape South Africa. The youth of 2026 must use that right. The most powerful weapon available to a young person today is not a slogan. It is not a hashtag. It is not a placard. It is a voter registration. And after registration, it is a ballot paper, because that ballot paper determines who governs. It determines who controls the budget, who appoints officials, and whether merit wins or cadre deployment continues. Speaker, 50 years ago, young people changed the course of history without a vote. Today, young people can change the course of history with one. The youth of 76 faced bullets. The youth of 2026 hold ballot papers. They were met with violence. We are entrusted with democracy. They faced a government that denied them a voice. We are confronted with a government that hopes we will avoid exercising our right. Speaker, in conclusion, the youth of 1976 handed us a more powerful weapon than any slogan. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sonakile. You look beautiful, by the way. Next time, put on your robe. You forgot the robe. Thank you very much, Honorable Sonakile. Honorable Kuno, 9 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Dr. Desmond Mohono, Honorable Premier Lazarus Kagiso Mokgosi, Honorable members of the Executive, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Speaker, we welcome this debate, and I've once more paid very serious attention to the address by members of the opposition. And once more, it is a monotonous tune of them lamenting without presenting any solutions. I was fascinated and hopeful when Honorable Sonakile spoke, and when he started talking about the lack of the exclusion of young people from the economy of the country. I thought something exciting is going to come out of that on measures that we need to take to ensure that young people meaningfully participate in the economy of the country. Honorable Speaker, Oliver Tambo warned us that a country or movement that does not value its youth does not deserve its future. As we commemorate 50 years since June 16th Soweto uprising, those words must trouble our conscience and guide our program of action. Honorable Speaker, as we enter this debate, we note as the ANC that just in the last month or so, all or at least two of international ratings agencies have given a very positive outlook of the grading of the country, which suggests that the country will be able to borrow at much more favorable interest rates, which will release the resources, much needed resources to rejuvenate the economy. So, Honourable Speaker, the young people of 1976 did not march for freedom that ends at the ballot box. The historical march was against the architect of apartheid, Henry Verwoerd's objective to teach African learners to be hewers of wood and drawers of water, regardless of an individual's ability and aspirations. Although the ANC government has done a lot in improving the socio-economic status of young people over the past 32 years, we must accept that much more needs to be done. Our words must be linked to action. Our collective action as a state must bear meaningful and sustainable impact in advancing youth development. One of the key mistakes, Honourable Speaker, we make is to treat youth as a homogeneous sector. It is a multi-layered sector, and our interventions must be comprehensive in responding to these inherent complexities. Working together with youth organizations and young people in general, what paradigm shift is required in the Northwest Province to ensure sustainable youth development? Sustainable development centered on drastically reducing poverty, inequality, exclusion, and marginalization from the mainstream economy. In appreciating that sustainable youth development is a mammoth endeavor, I specifically want to focus on two strategic areas: skills development and youth entrepreneurship. Linked with these strategic focus areas are at least three critical success factors which must create conducive environment to achieve the desired outcomes. These critical success factors can briefly be summarized as follows: bridging the digital divide, functional and a developmental local government sector, and much better alignment of all three levels of government in addressing issues of youth development. So let's start with skills development. I agree with the honourable members on the question of the growing numbers of unemployment within the band of youth that have acquired a tertiary qualification. But as members of the legislature, we need to understand what that actually means and come with concrete measures to deal with that question. So, one of the difficulties of our country is that there's a lot more focus on acquiring university education, which is sometimes prioritized over investing in technical skills. If you look at successful economies in the world, if you look at Germany, they are spending a lot more money on producing technical skills than on university education. It's a similar thing that you find in Japan. So perhaps that's a conversation that we need to have, that although our universities, our institutions in the province are producing graduates, are we producing graduates that match the skills gap that we find in industry? We remember that in the past we used to have manpower and such institutions that produced artisans, electricians, plumbers, and those type of skills. So perhaps in dealing with this question, we need to think differently about the type of skills we need to produce in the province. The province needs to be looking at structuring partnerships with organizations, with SETAs. SETAs administer what is called discretionary grants. In terms of these grants, they help produce much needed apprenticeships or artisans in many of these areas where you produce technical skills. So perhaps in taking this discussion forward, that type of focus could be helpful. I want to talk, Honourable Speaker, about something that I'm also very passionate about, because we tend to lump young people together, that all young people look for jobs. But the reality, in talking to the complexities, in talking to a point that I raised earlier on, that the youth is not a homogeneous sector. There are some young people who are not interested in looking for a job. whose ambition is to be a successful business person. So what are we doing in that regard to promote this subject of youth entrepreneurship? And what are the concrete suggestions I want to put on the table in dealing with the subject of youth entrepreneurship? The first one is looking at a curriculum and almost making it or encouraging young people at a very young age to take a subject of entrepreneurship. From primary school, high school, if we plant the seeds of entrepreneurship, then we are raising young people who grow up, who go to university, not just to exit and look for jobs, who go out with a mindset that we can create jobs and also help reduce unemployment. So we must also have a serious conversation, Honourable Speaker, about whilst it's important to produce good matric results, there are less and less kids who are coming out of school without maths. There's too much focus these days on maths literacy. And that limits the opportunities for young people to pursue other careers, even if you want to get into the area of youth entrepreneurship. So I think it's a very serious conversation.
As you wrap up, Honourable Member.
That we need to have. When you look at critical success factors, one is on bridging the digital divide. For so long as our kids in rural areas, young people do not have access to data, they remain closed out of what we continue to talk about as the advent of the fourth industrial revolution. So structuring partnership with the private sector to bridge the digital divide so that there's no distinction between a young person who's in a rural area or in an urban area. And then the area of functional municipalities. Municipalities must function so that they provide the services that allow youth development, that provide opportunities for youth entrepreneurship. And then lastly, more efficient and effective collaboration amongst all three levels of government. The problem is that it's disjointed, we're not aligned, and a better coordination will ensure that we succeed. And then how the legislature, I believe that it needs to hold the executive accountable so that in every quarter they are able to account on measures that they are taking to advance the subject of youth development. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Kudu. Honourable Tsulo. Honourable Kodisang, your 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Medes Bomohono, honorable members in this House and those on the online platform. Baagi ba Bokoni Bophirima dumelang. Honorable Speaker, Youth Day is not just another date on the calendar. It is a reminder of courage, sacrifice, and power of young people to change the course of a nation. This year marks 50 years since the youth of 1976 refused to accept injustice as normal. They marched peacefully against an education system designed to silence and marginalize them. They were denied quality education, dignity, and the freedom to learn in their language of choice. What they received in return was not a dialogue, but violence. Yet their bravery transformed a protest into a turning point in South African history. June 16 became a symbol of resistance, dignity, and hope. Honorable Speaker, in 1994, the democratic government established June 16 as a National Youth Day and June as a Youth Month. This was not only to commemorate the past, but also to remind every generation of its responsibility to shape the future. The lessons of 1976 is clear. Young people are leaders today, not merely tomorrow. Whenever they speak out against unemployment, inequality, poor education, and injustices, they honor the democratic legacy left by those who came before them. Honorable Speaker, the painful reality is that many of the challenges of the youth of 1976 fought against remain with us today. Youth unemployment in the Northwest Province remains above 50%. Many township and rural schools still lack libraries, laboratories, and adequate learning resources. How can we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the 1976 uprising when so many of the conditions they fought against continue to exist? Today, students from the Northwest Province struggle to access higher education opportunities. Concerns have been raised about the admission processes at Northwest University, while many deserving students are excluded from higher learning due to financial barriers. The dream of the 1976 generation cannot be realized while young people are denied access to education because they cannot afford application fees, registration costs, or tuition. Honorable Speaker, if we are serious about honoring the youth of 1976, we must provide today's youth with real opportunities. Our schools must be places of inclusion, not exclusion. We must invest in quality education skills, development, entrepreneurship, and job creation. We must create pathways to dignity, self-reliance, and economic participation. Young people should not be viewed as a problem, but to be managed, but a generation with the ideas, energy, and courage to rebuild our society. As we commemorate Youth Day, let us remember that freedom was not handed to the youth of 1976. They fought for it. Let us honor their sacrifices by building a South Africa where every young person can learn, lead, work, and live with hope. Only then we will be worthy of the legacy they left behind. Ke a leboga.
Thank you, Honorable Godisang. Honorable Hosho, 10 minutes.
Tla ke go leboga Mosakgotla ke dumedise tonakgolo ya rona Re Lazarus Mokgosi le bakhuduthamaga on the platform as well as Honorable Moseniko who's here physically, and greet all the honorable members. Yes, Honorable Moema, you can say that we are old. We are from the ranks of the ANC Youth League. And by the way, you are from those ranks of the Young Communist League before you became the member of the EFF. As well as Honorable Sonakile, as you speak, let us about how we have accusing us of abusing the cadre deployment. By the way, how you landed in the legislature, rightfully so you qualified, but we are within our ranks. You were within our ranks, yes. You can say, but you've been produced by us for you to be landing there. Being a leader, yes, you went to school, we agree. Protect me, Speaker. Because I never interjected Honorable Sonakile when he speaks. We agree, but we supported you. We have breeded you, we have nourished you to be where you are today. Yes, you went to school, we acknowledge that. But by the way, for you to be a member, you've been within the ranks as well.
Chief Whip, can you take your seat? Honorable Sonakile, let's hear what is the order.
Yeah, Speaker, I'm rising in terms of Rule 74, and I believe this has been ongoing for quite a number of years and would need to be clarified as a point of order. It was in June 2004 when I saw an advertisement on City Press and I applied to become a legal advisor here. I was not a member of any party. I did not hold a membership of any party. I went to interviews and I became #1 out of 20 people who were interviewed. So I've never been a member of the ANC, nor do I have interests of being one, because I have very close proximity to them and I know the type of people that they are. So I will never want to be associated with them. So it must be clear that I worked so hard to be where I am, Speaker. I was not assisted by anyone. I only knew the existence of a person called Mokgosi when I became a legal advisor here. Before that, I did not even know her. Thank you, Speaker. I felt that that must be clarified. You're getting out of hand. I was not made. I'm self-made. I was not made by anyone. I am self-made. Honorable Fasho did not make me, nor did any other ANC member. It's personal, Speaker. What is happening is personal. She did not make me. If she employed people in this legislature, I worked so hard to be where I am. That is why even today I'm leading a party called the GA. It's because I worked so hard. I was not made made by her.
You are out of order.
She's out of order as
You are
well.
out of- I'm calling you
no,
to
she's
order.
been continuing,
I
Speaker,
am calling
doing this.
you. You don't
Sorry,
respond to
Speaker,
me.
but this woman, it's about time that she knows I
Honorable
was not
Sonakile.
made. I worked so
Honorable
hard to be who I am.
Sit down.
Nna ka tla ke tshwere
Sit
ka letsoho
down.
like bona ba ithutile
Sit
ba sa
down.
le di-membera e le ona ba kenang
Honorable
sekolo ke tsene
Sonakile.
ke badile Speaker.
Honorable Sonakile, you are out.
Speaker,
Honorable
let her move on.
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable Musanuhi. Honorable Musanuhi. Honorable Musanuhi. Members, with due respect, you can't defy the presiding officers when she calls you. Honorable Sonakile, you are out of order. Even if you would have a point, you are out of order when I call you. No, you're not going to respond to me. When I call you, you don't respect me. That level of disrespect, I won't tolerate it in the House. If a presiding officer calls you, you respond to the presiding, you don't continue to speak as though I don't exist. It must never, ever happen again. It must never. When you raise your point of order, when I call you, you respond to me. But when I call you, you continue to talk. That is a disrespect I will never take in this House. Unfortunately, I will never accept it. And it goes for every member. When I call you, you must respond to me, not to the speaker on the platform or not to another member. It cannot be tolerated. Honorable Chief Whip, can you
As
continue?
I proceed, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. However, Honorable Sonakile, you've been cushioned under our wings. Despite that, you were cushioned under the wings of the African National Congress ranks, even in this legislature. I will never retreat in saying that. I'll continue to say it. Madam Speaker, as we mark 50 years since the June 16 Soweto uprising, we are reminded by Solomon Mahlangu that, I quote, "My blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom," close quote. Today, that tree must bear the fruits of jobs, skills, enterprise development, dignity, and economic freedom for the young people of the Northwest Province. The youth of 1976 rejected an education system designed to make themselves in the land of their birth. They marched so that the future generations could learn freely, speak freely, and live freely. And I agree with you, Honorable Kodisang, on the sentiments that you shared in terms of the 1976 generation. The fight waged by the generation of class 1976 was not in vain, as today the government has expanded access to education, student funding, youth development institutions, public participation platforms, skills development, and employment pathway. That's why we are able to debate the way we are debating, Honorable Sonakile, today. You are a beneficiary of that struggle. You may deny it, but that's a fact. Through you, Madam Speaker, today millions of young people now have. Madam Speaker, can I be protected? Because Honorable Sonakile, when we give him that great respect. How he has debated. And can I be protected, Madam Speaker?
Yeah, but I've never said for sure. Why are you debating me?
Honorable Sonakile, please.
I've been raising my hand, Speaker, you're not recognizing me.
Please.
The member is
You
not
cannot have an interaction with the speaker on the platform.
Yeah, but she must not address Sonakile.
I will recognize you. But please, don't do what you are doing. Don't do what you are doing, please. I don't think the chief whip is saying any word that is unacceptable in the House.
No, she is.
I didn't even have my mic on. Secretariat, can you take care of your laptop? It's off. I'm unable to see members on the platform. Can you do your work? Chief Whip, can you continue?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, millions of young people now have access to free basic education, no-fee schools, school and nutrition programs, scholar transport, and various youth development initiatives. And we do agree that there are still challenges, more still needs to be done. Honourable members, the ANC manifesto instructs us to put South Africa to work, build an inclusive economy, tackle the highest cost of living, and invest in people. The January 8 statement further calls on today's youth to define their mission and become the principal agents of social and economic transformation. This is the correct political line because no revolution can survive if its youth remain spectators. Freedom must be seen in the hands of a young entrepreneur, in the certificate of a trained artisan, in the dignity of a working graduate, and in the confidence of a girl learner who does not miss school because of poverty, or a boy child learner who is equally who needs to be equally mentored and not be disregarded or ignored. But, Madam Speaker, let us be honest with our people. They want work, they want startup support, they want skills, and they want a promising future. Many graduates remain unemployed. Many township businesses struggle to access finance. Many rural youth remain far from digital infrastructure, markets, and transport routes. The youth of our province are demanding more than promises. They are demanding opportunities. In response to this, the government has strengthened institutional support for youth development. The National Youth Development Agency, established through the legislation in 2008 and recently amended in 2024, continues to play a central role coordinating as such role. But it is important, Madam Speaker, because during the NCOP, initiatives by the NYDA have been raised that there are challenges and there are weaknesses. Those shortcomings need to be corrected. We need to close that gap. And Honorable Premier, we are appealing to you that through your office, you must ensure that NYDA's work is being monitored and it must have impact in our young people in the Northwest Province. Because these are matters that were sharply raised during the NCOP week in Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. The Presidential Youth League intervention has created a large-scale platform linking youth people to opportunities with more than 4.78 million young people registered on the National Pathway Management Network and over 1.67 million earning opportunities secured by 2025. The basic education sector has also contributed with over 320,000 young people gaining work opportunities in approximately 23,000 public schools during the first phase of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiatives. And we must also commend the MEC for Education in the Northwest, who's driving this with so much compassion, which actually starting to make impacts and repositioning our young people and making educators as a profession fashionable and stylish in our province. And we commend you, Honorable Mutsumi, for that. In response, the ANC-led government has mobilized departments, municipalities, and public entities to expand employment, skills development, and entrepreneurship programs. These interventions may not solve unemployment overnight, but they represent a deliberate effort to ensure that the youth of 2026 inherit not only political freedom, but also a meaningful opportunities to participate in and in shaping the economy of the country, in particular the Northwest Province. Honourable members, the G20 Leaders Declaration reminds us that employment must be a central objective of economic growth and that decent work must be at the heart of sustainable industrialization. For Northwest, this means that our platinum agriculture and tourism, arts, sports, and rural economies as strength must include young people as owners, workers, innovators, and professionals. The Freedom Charter declared that, I quote, "the people shall share in their country's wealth," close quote. In 2026, that must mean youth-owned contractors on road projects, youth cooperatives in agriculture, youth artists supported by the 860.2 million allocation in the sports that will be approved in the sports, arts and culture, recreation. Of course, Honorable Kapi, we also commend the good work, the way how you are trying to inculcate the culture of repositioning young people in the mainstream of economy through sports, arts and culture and recreation. We appreciate that. And we need to also continue to sustain positioning young entrepreneurs linked to markets across the province. As South Africa commemorates the 50th anniversary of the 1970s student uprising, the message to young people should be one of hope, perseverance, and collective responsibility. The road towards social and economic transformation may be difficult, but South Africa's democratic history demonstrates that progress is possible when citizens remain committed to change. And Honorable Danji, you've done sterling work in making sure that you partner with young people. You actually, with your psychosocial program services, you are able to position young people that they are able to, in terms of their mindset, they can be able to start to take other opportunities that has been set before you through provincial government. For young South Africans, registering to vote represents an opportunity to transform frustration into constructive participation and dissatisfaction into democratic influence. Honourable members who were on my left. The youth of 1976 fought courageously for dignity, freedom, and the right to shape their destiny. Contemporary youth already possesses this constitutional right. The responsibility lies in exercising them meaningfully. South Africa remains a country of immense possibilities. Its a democratic institution, constitutional protections, youthful population, and rich history of resistance provide a strong foundation for renewal and development. Honorable Speaker, let us close with the wisdom of Malume Moses Kotane, who taught us to place the interests of the people above all else. The generation of 1976 won political freedom. The generation of 2026 must win economic freedom. Reset at 50 must not be a slogan. It must be a program of work, skills, dignity, innovation, and opportunities. Ke a leboga. O tla nwa samento, Honorable Sonakile. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. I will now call Honorable Tlhapi to close the debate. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have indicated that it will never happen again. Me, Honorable Fanon, the difference between kobo and scarf. That's why I Honorable Speaker, can I be protected?
Honorable Moema. Honorable Tlhapi, can you continue with your 5 minutes before it's done?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ke se rulumu again ka gore ke a debate ka mo clarify gore ga itse scarf le kobo. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Sonakile are re tlatsa di stadium re bua di speech ne ke mo gopotsa gore those speeches ha re di address re tlatsa di stadium yalo. Madam Speaker, despite the challenges e ke dumelana le Honorable Khosha le Honorable Mphokuno gore we also need to
can you respect the speaker on the platform?
Ma?
I was saying I was protecting you from the Chief Whip and Honorable Sonakile.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying, ke dumelana le Honorable Kuno le Honorable Chief Whip gore re tshwanela ke gore re thuse bašwa ba rona gore ba tle ka dithuto tse e leng gore di lebagana le ikonomi ya rona mo letsatsing la kajeko. Mme ne ke re ke gopotse ntlo ya gago gape, Honorable Speaker, gore Honorable Sonakile are di speeches tse re di buang ko di stadium di ga di thuse sepe. Ne ke re ke mo gopotsa gore after those speeches or within those speeches, there's a proof that government has made education one of its top priority, resulting in significant improvement in the transformation of the matric pass rate from 58% in 1994 to a historic 88% in 2025. Again, Madam Speaker, South Africa's basic education system has gradually transformed while redressing the generational legacies of the Bantu education system. Although certain inequalities through the inherited prior 1994, which we all know, still linger in our new dispensation, and there is a serious need to expedite complete dismantling and the creation of the new educational system that will respond to the challenges of young people of today, like we have already indicated. Or we need to link education around. In respect to the higher education, Madam Speaker, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme remains a catalyst for widening access to higher education for the marginalized, which has grown from the budget of 33 million in 1991, serving only 7,240 students to over 52 billion today, funding more than 1.1 million students at universities and TVET colleges. In 2017, Madam Speaker, the government restructured NSFAS, transforming it from a largely loan-based scheme into a grant system, with the aim of ensuring that access to higher education does not place a financial burden to our young people. We have also met a surpassed gender parity in higher education participation rates, with over 60% of graduates from our colleges and universities now being young women. Today, we are are met with the growing demands for education, hence the challenges around the administration of NSFAS and the student accommodation have surfaced. So, Madam Speaker, I want to call on unity in action because I believe that island, all of us as public servant, Honorable Fandon, how you said Tabo. When as a public servant, you also has a responsibility to help because we cannot politicize even education, Honorable Fanon. Although we know that there are systems in place, but as a public servant, because some of us as public servant, we normally do that. If our young people are suffering from registering from
MEC,
Madam Speaker.
just take your seat, Honorable Fanon.
Can the Honorable MEC take a point of clarity?
No. Out of order, I'm phone. Sit down.
You're only out of order, Kajeku. I really don't understand you today, honorable members. Yo, Honorable Fanon, Honorable Klapi cannot take a question of clarity. It should be a question. Honorable Klapi, can you continue?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ke ne ke re go sotlaga ga bašwa ba rona rotlhe ra itse gore ba exploitiwa in acts of criminality, including the involvement in the recent xenophobic attacks against African nationals. Unemployment must be recognized and addressed as a national disaster, yet it must never be manipulated as a justification to mobilize young people against fellow Africans within our brothers, because we do have a history in African countries. For us to be here, we all know that African countries has also participated to help us to win our democracy back from the apartheid system. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Klapi. Thank you, honorable members, for the debate of Youth Month. Hope we'll all go and support our young people, regardless of where we come from or where they come from. Secretariat, can you please read the next order?
Order number 6, Premier's oral reply to questions as per Rule 143.
Thank you, Secretariat. Honorable members, I want to remind you that in terms of Rule 138, 11 and 12, it read in our standing rules, a member who asks the question must be present in the House or must authorize another member in writing to take care of his question. If the member who asked the question is not present in the House and did not authorize another member to take charge of his or her question, such questions will fall off and the Premier does not have to answer the question. Are we clear, honorable members? Please.
Yes, Speaker.
I will now call...
Speaker.
It's fine. You're all fine on the platform? Okay.
Yes, Speaker.
Okay.
Yes,
I will now
Speaker.
Yes,
call
Speaker.
on the Premier, Honorable Mokgosi, to reply to oral question per Rule 143. The first question is posed by Honorable Khosho to the Premier. Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Ke tshone ke lebogele nako mphileng yone, and also greet members of the August House present in the Legislature and those who are on the platform. Honorable Khosho, the Provincial Treasury, through the Office of the Accountant General, is actively monitoring the implementation of Auditor General's recommendations and material irregularities. The following are in place. 1, post-audit action plans are developed with support from the Provincial Treasury Review of audit action plans is conducted by the Office of the Provincial Accountant General and Provincial Internal Audit. Regular implementation support is provided to departments to ensure execution of corrective actions. Central SharePoint system is used to upload all plans for easy monitoring. Verification of information ensures accuracy and completeness of uploaded data. Quarterly reports were submitted to the Executive Council on progress. Memo and reporting format have been developed to standardize reporting on material irregularities. Quarterly MI reports are compiled and submitted to the Executive Council. Honorable Speaker, all departments are making progress in this regard. The number of audit findings and qualifications is reducing year on year, reflecting improved compliance and strengthened financial management practices. Honorable members, further, the following interventions are being implemented: strengthening internal audit units to ensure proactive risk management and compliance monitoring, capacity building for CFOs and financial managers on PFMA, treasury regulations, and consequence management, implementation of frameworks to address irregular expenditure and enforce accountability, ethics and governance training for senior management and officials, quarterly performance reviews by the Executive Council to track compliance and governance outcomes, integration of audit outcomes into departmental performance plans and service delivery agreements, enhance monitoring by the Office of the Premier to ensure alignment between governance, accountability, and service delivery priorities. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Khosha, do you have a follow-up question?
No, Chair, I don't have a follow-up question. I must welcome the good work that has been done by provincial government, and I think the responses by Honorable Premier actually gives us a clear cut on the work, the progress that they've made this far. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Khosha. Does any member wish to make a follow-up? Honorable Mwema, 1 minute.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. We noted the feedback by the Premier. However, my concern is that the question of Honorable Khosha had two aspects. One is asking about provincial departments, and then two is asking about other entities in the province. And if the Premier is saying they are making progress, I doubt entities like your NTI, they are really making progress. So can maybe Honorable Premier try to clarify also on the aspect of entities? So, because I think his feedback mainly focused on provincial departments. Of course, we do know that because we did have engagements with the AG, but what about entities that belongs to the provincial government, in particular entities like NTIs that we know that are very notorious? Thank you.
I'm looking at the question, what you are, okay, I can see public entities. Yes, Premier, can you respond?
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Moyama, I think you are correct, but if you listened well, I referred to departments that it also include entities which falls within such departments. And I agree with you, NTI in particular has serious challenges, and we know that the company itself is under business rescue, and there's been serious challenge, legal matters which are in courts, non-compliance, and thus far we have come up with a very proactive plan from provincial treasury as far as assisting the institution itself. So we agree that we have challenges, and in particular to NTI. Thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. The second question is posed by Honorable Tsulo to the Premier. Honorable Tsulo has, in terms of 138, authorized Honorable Mwema to be in charge of her question.
The Honorable Tsulo, the office through the Directorate of ability rights coordination and monitoring, collaborated with the provincial treasury, supply chain management, and financial institution. And they rolled out the information sharing sessions in 3 district municipalities, namely Bojanala, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in quarter 3 and Dr. Ruth Homotsi Mompati in quarter 4 respectively. And these institutions include NYDA, CIDB, and so forth. The Ngaka Mudirimolema district session is scheduled to be completed in the first quarter of 2026. The primary objectives of the session was to ensure that companies are CSD compliant and that financial institutions make funding opportunities available. The Office of the Premier Supply Chain Management embarked on radio interviews to advocate and encourage persons with disability-owned business to become suppliers. For the period under review, 25-26 financial year, 43 million was spent on business owned by persons with disabilities across all departments within the province, which translates to about 1% of the provincial budget. Honorable Speaker, the Provincial Disability Forum serves also as a platform for discussions, joint planning, collaboration, and consensus seeking amongst key role players within the disability sector. The forum advises, guides, monitor, and evaluates the work of the provincial and local government. The Office of the Premier, as the Secretariat of the Provincial Forum, launched and capacitated the forum members in all the districts and local municipalities. Every quarter, Honorable Speaker, the Office of the Premier convened the provincial forum meetings to receive the progress reports on implementation on the white paper of the white paper on the rights of persons with disability as approved by Cabinet in 2015. The Office of the Executive Mayors in districts and local municipalities also coordinate and support the work of the forums in municipalities. This process, action pillar number 6, in terms of the white paper on the rights of persons with disability, which emphasizes the self-representation, and to date, persons with disabilities are represented at the health governance structures and in the ward committees across municipalities. The Office of the Premier advised sector departments and entities to ensure a fair representation of the disability sector. The office, through ex-tech resolutions, requested departments to establish departmental disability forums as a means of self-representation and response to reasonable accommodation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Moema, do you have any follow-up on the question?
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the Premier was quite detailed in the feedback. We noted that, but also because it seems like there's a contradiction. Because when departments come, particularly provincial departments, when they appear before committees, most of the time they don't meet their targets in terms of inclusion of people with disabilities and forums. Therefore, from time to time they claim that no, they can't locate them and so on. What the Premier present now appears to be very good, but I think we'll go back to the ground and engage them, of course, through different forums to establish whether who's misleading ourselves between the Premier and his departments. But also, we'll then encourage the Premier to go back and engage his department and ensure that they strengthen these measures in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Moema. Does any member wish to respond? Honorable Sonakile, 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I have to agree with Honorable Moema on this question of Honorable Tolo, that most departments continue to fail to achieve the target. However, the Premier's response shows some sort of soft-hand approach in dealing with this matter. So I would like to check with the Premier that besides your office just reminding this department, is there any enforceable mechanism that you are looking into to ensure that this target gets to be achieved by your departments? Thanks.
Can I respond, Speaker?
Honorable Premier, yes.
Yes, indeed, honorable members. We will continue to engage different departments. We know that some are struggling, and at all material times they give reasons and explanations as to why in most instances they are unable. But for us, it's an ongoing exercise, and we believe that through continuous putting also of extraordinary measures, we believe that we will be able to succeed. But we do acknowledge that, yes, indeed, but majority of the departments from where we are sitting, they are doing very well. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. The third question is by Honorable Sonti to the Premier. Honorable Premier.
The issue on illegal foreigners and the drug illicit in the province remains a serious challenge. Our communities in the Northwest are angry, and they have a right to be angry. Parents are burying children killed by stray bullets. Young people are being destroyed by crystal meth and nyaupe and other substances. Illegal firearms, we found them in our township and in our villages, and we have even put extraordinary measures with the police in as far as ensuring that we kept this type of flowing in our townships of these illegal firearms. But the reality is that government at large cannot pretend that this is not happening. However, we also cannot allow anger to turn into lawlessness. My response on this question will rely on the following, Madam Speaker. On law enforcement. The South African Police Service in this province is running weekly high-density operations under Operation Chanela 2. In November 2025 alone, 994 suspects were arrested across all four of our districts. All among them were 15 undocumented foreign nationals. Drugs, firearms, ammunition, and illicit liquor were seized. This is an ongoing exercise and activity. We are not silent, and we are not idling. On the link between illegal immigration and crime, where individuals, regardless of nationality, are found to have entered the country illegally and they are committing crimes, they have to be arrested and they are prosecuted. That is the law. National government through Home Affairs and South African Police Services is responsible for immigration enforcement. Our role as a province is to support them, provide intelligence, and ensure our municipalities do not enable illegal activities. On crime generators, we are targeting the enablers. These are the landlords renting to undocumented persons, employers hiring illegal employees who are in the country illegally, the owners of the unlicensed shebeens, and second-hand dealers trading in stolen goods. All will have to face the wrath of the law. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa has outlined how the country is going to address all these issues. As a province, we rally behind the President's call that if you are found harboring or profiting from illegal foreign nationals, you will have to be arrested. That applies to South Africans and non-South Africans alike. On community activism, I understand the frustration of our communities, but that should not mean that people must take the law into their own hands. Let's not attack foreign nationals despite us knowing that they are illegal or not, trafficking drugs or not. We need to pull together and nip these crimes in the bud. We need to report illegal immigration and allow police to do their work. Vigilantism is not the answer. On the root cause, Madam Speaker, the challenge of guns and drugs is as a result, and as we speak of these migrant challenges confronting our communities, and that is why our medium-term development plan will focus on jobs, skills, and youth programs. And if we do not dry up the market of drugs by giving young people's alternative, we'll be fighting this war and battle forever. Madam Speaker, our municipalities are tasked also to play a specific role, and that is to enforce the bylaws. Home Affairs Department and the Border Management Authority will equally have to ensure that the borders are fully secured. This calls or requires effective policing, direct prosecution, strict municipal compliance, and above all, economic intervention. The law must apply equally to everybody, and we must support all our GCP's cluster to strengthen oversight on this exercise. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Sonti, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Speaker. Can the Premier commit to publishing regular progress reports so that communities can assess whether government interventions are producing tangible results? Premier, if current strategies are proving insufficient, what new interventions will your administration introduce within the next 12 months to reduce the drug-related crime, illegal firearms, and youth involvement in criminal activities? And how will success be measured? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sonti. Honorable Premier.
Honorable Speaker, the follow-up question ran on a risk of being a completely new question. But let me emphasize the following. I have explained different responsibilities and the role of the province. And the issue that I refer to is the South African Police Service responsibility. We also outline the responsibility of Home Affairs. We also outline our role as a provincial government, that we are saying the collaboration of all of us will ensure that we mitigate this over proliferation of whether they are firearms or whether they are drugs. Ourselves as a provincial government, through social development, we may have a lot of programs that speaks to substance abuse and other related matters. But that issues that relates to criminal activities, that's why we are saying there must be, or there has to be a requirement of ensuring that effective policing happens. But once police have arrested people, prosecution must also kick in. We also said municipalities must ensure that there is also compliance. Therefore, all of us have a responsibility, and all of us must ensure that we do what is expected of us, a collaboration, so that we are able to deal with this matter decisively.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Does any member wish to make a follow-up? Honorable Sonakide, Honorable Moema.
No, thank you, Speaker. Premier, while acknowledging that SAPS is a national competency and acknowledging the response in the fact that you've spoken to the role that is played by Home Affairs, Justice, and all others, I just want to check in terms of technologically driven efforts, what effort is your government giving or doing in trying to assist SAPS in doing their work, as has been seen in other provinces like your Gauteng and Western Cape, where you'll see that provincial governments also bring in some sort of relief to police by bringing in body drones, community crime fighters, vehicles, to procure into provincial. Is there any mechanisms in our province we are supporting SAPS in the work that they do? Thanks.
Honorable Premier.
Honorable Sonakile, I think you'll recall in my state of the province, where I said the kind of criminality that we face as a province and as a country will require extraordinary measures, just away from community policy. And I said there has to be an introduction of technology. And in particular, in this instance, I was referring to the theft around our animals and so on, of stock theft. And I said, as a department, despite us having financial challenges, there is a need to increase our capacity as a department. Now, I know that that task has been given to the MEC and the department responsible, that they must come up with a concrete plan from a technological point of view, so that would assist us to how to deal with this crime that we have in a province. But the truth is that with our limited resources, we may not be in a position to respond adequately. But I believe strongly that starting, elementary on high spots or areas that are identified and move from one financial year to the other, we should be able to introduce technology to deal with or fighting crime. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Mwema.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I do not wish to run a risk of asking a new question, but I think relative to the primary questions. Recently, there was a drug bust in Swartragens where multi-million drugs were found, apparently in a farm. Now, in the process, because crime stats were released recently by the Department of Community Safety, did you profile the farm to establish whether it's a privately owned farm or it's a state farm? Thank you.
I think you knew that you are raising something that probably we can commit, Madam Speaker, that we may provide to the House a more informed and research information as it relates to that.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Question number 4, posed by Honorable Sibirwe to the Premier. Honorable Premier.
Madam Speaker, I think I would request that in terms of this question, I should be...
Sorry, Premier. Honorable Sonakile.
Yeah, Speaker, I think in line with your earlier ruling on questions, you indicated that when a member is not here, either they give it to another member.
Honorable Sibirwe is here.
Where?
In the platform.
Which one? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much,
Honorable Premier.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was going to suggest that this question, I should later also be expected to do a written reply because it contains a lot of statistical information, which will I later then give it to the House. However, Madam Speaker, the Northwest Provincial Government has identified youth...
Honorable Premier, do you want to convert that question into a written? If that is what you want to do, you don't have to respond any further. You will compile your written response. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, what I was saying, Madam Speaker, was that some of the information here has a lot of statistics which I was requesting, Honorable Speaker, that I should submit to the House.
Permission granted.
Okay.
Can we then move to the... Well, can you be on the mic, Honorable Davampi, because I didn't get what you were saying.
No, thanks. I was saying we are moving to question 5.
Yes, we are moving to question 5. Yes. Honorable members, I can't see Honorable Oliphant on the platform. Is there anybody who, and I didn't even receive any notice of Honorable Oliphant appointing another member to deal with the question, unless the letter was not brought to my attention. Secretariat, is there any letter from Honorable Oliphant? No. I didn't receive anything from Honorable Oliphant. The rules dictate on what should happen. We are moving to question number 6. Honorable Tsulo, Honorable Mwema. You are Honorable Tsulo today. Honorable Premier, you can continue question 6 of Honorable Solo.
Honorable Solo, in 2024, the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs embarked on a task of developing a comprehensive policy on support to the institution of traditional leadership in the Northwest Province. The amount of work that went into the drafting of the policy led to the coronation of traditional leaders being taken out and treated separately. The draft policy of coronation was developed and presented to the executive of the Northwest House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders to solicit comments and inputs from the Mokgosi, and that was in 2025. The department is yet to get comments and inputs on the draft policy. Honorable Speaker, it needs also to be stated that while the department was seized with the development of a comprehensive policy on support to the institution of traditional leadership, the National Department of Traditional Affairs was also busy with the finalization of the handbook for traditional and Khoisan leaders. The handbook was launched in June 2025 and implemented in phases by the provinces confronted by budgetary constraints. It is our submission that with limited resources, the Department of COCTA is currently supporting the institution of traditional leadership as follows: purchases, maintenance, fuel, and insured 56 vehicles for the Mokgosi. Also provide the Mokgosi with official cell phones, airtimes, and laptops. Contributes 100,000 towards burial of the Mokgosi and 25,000 for recognize the Xhosana. Contributes 2.3 million per month to subsidize salaries of traditional council employees. Contributes 9.3 million annually to 93 traditional council offices to meet their overheads. Second officials to some of the offices. Also construct and maintain traditional council offices. 5 members of the Executive Council of the Provincial House are allocated official vehicles to perform their official duties. Chairperson and Deputy Chair of the Provincial House, they also qualify for official residence. Members of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders are serving as full-time members and remunerated accordingly. 24 members of the Provincial House qualify for 100,000 ex gratia at the end of their fifth year term. The Mokgosi also qualified to join GEMS Medical Aid, and the employer contribution is paid by the department. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Mwema, do you want to have? Thank you very much. Does any member have a follow-up question? None. We go straight to question number 7. I didn't receive anything from Honorable Modise. Secretary, did we receive anything? Thank you very much. It falls off. The Premier is not going to respond. Honorable Dial, I don't see him on the platform. Honorable Dial, if my gadget is refusing to see you, can you just show your face? Because on my gadget, I don't see you. Also, question number 8. I don't see Honorable Dial. It also falls off, and I didn't get any letter. Question number 9 posed by Honorable Kuno to the Premier. Honorable Premier.
Honorable Kuno, yes,
Sorry, Premier. I don't see him on this gadget that you gave me. I'm sorry, Honorable Dial, because their gadget is giving me a hassle. It's fine, I have my phone too. But here it doesn't appear.
Can I proceed, Speaker?
Just hold on, I want to be sure so that we, okay. But why is he not speaking? I didn't see Honorable Dial. We can go back to question posed by Honorable Dial, question number 8, Premier. Question number 8, posed by Honorable Dial. Order, there's nothing like that. The member only appears on the screen when he or she has to speak. But this question is raised by a member who is on the platform, and the person who should show on the platform is the Premier responding. But if a member wants to make a follow-up question, because that member will be speaking, I'm expecting that member to appear on the platform. Honourable Premier, question number 8.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Dial, 16,091 people in the province accessed cooked food through Department of Social Development feeding schemes in previous financial year 2025-2026 to reduce the level of hunger and vulnerability to community members who are faced with severe hunger. 17,879 households were provided with food parcels to alleviate the severity of hunger. 107 women in small businesses were assisted with equipment to increase output and household income. Industrial sewing machines, tent hiring equipment, stock and inputs for eatery tuck shops, car wash equipment and products, dehydrators machines, solar and solar panels, 50 youth empowered with security training to increase their employability, and other 50 young people assisted with driver licenses. The department has spent over and above 217,237 and funded 302 NPOs, which created 1,344 job opportunities. Yes, Honorable Dial, the PGDS has positioned the province as a competitive and attractive investment destination. This is expressed in the caliber of the socio-economic interventions identified and lined up in the PGDS. Should these interventions be implemented, I believe adequately, the province shall attract huge investment. Honorable Speaker, the PGDS at a very high level provides room for a vibrant economic environment that harnesses SMME enterprise development and growth to make meaningful contributions to the GDP of the province. The Provincial Growth Development Strategy implementation has just started following its approval and launch in March 2026. The effectiveness of this 5-year strategy shall be determined at a later stage, at least after a year of its implementation. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Dial, do you have a follow-up question?
I have got no follow-up question, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dial. Does any member wish to make a follow-up question? A follow-up on the question? Not a follow-up question. None. We can now go to question 9, Premier, posed by Honorable Kuno.
Honorable Kuno, yes, the Provincial Growth and Development Strategies Implementation Plan has been finalized and approved by EXCO for implementation with immediate effect. These are agriculture, tourism, mining, ICT, manufacturing, and beneficiation. EXCO has assigned the Premier's Economic and Investment Advisory Council and the Northwest Development Corporation, who have jointly drafted an industrialization concept for the province. The draft is being consulted and upon completion shall be tabled before EXCO for approval. Honorable Speaker, all provincial government departments, state-owned entities, and municipalities are responsible for implementation of the PGDS. The monitoring of the PGDS implementation is primarily the responsibility of the Office of the Premier. However, the ESCO cluster system shall preside over or play oversight on the monitoring process and outcomes, and that would include an economic growth of about 2.5% across the sectors, to drop in the unemployment rate, especially of young people, improve conditions of our roads in the province, and development of additional mega economic centers in the province. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Kuno, do you have a follow-up question? Honorable Kuno.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I welcome the response of Honorable Premier. I do have a concern, though, about implementation of the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. And here's a concern, and I want to understand how the Office of the Premier is dealing with this question. We are going through another round where departments are presenting APPs. This afternoon, there's a session with DDECT. One doesn't see the alignment between the APP and the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and I don't know how the Premier's office is dealing with that thing, because you could be telling PGDS and departments are carrying on as if there isn't the PGDS in place. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Kuno. Honorable Premier.
There's a high possibility, Honorable Speaker, what is said by Honorable Kuno. You'll recall, I just said that the PGDS was just adopted in March 2026. So there's a high possibility that there's a misalignment, but it should be probably possible at the level of review of the APPs that we may be in a position to see how possible can we align our PGDS with our APPs. I think we will engage with different departments, including our state-owned entities, on such a possibility. Thank you very much.
Honorable Kuno, you look like you are not answered. Are you fine? Does any member wish to make a follow-up? Thank you very much. Question 10, as much as question 5, it goes for the same. Honorable Oliphant didn't appoint anybody to take over on his question. As a result, we have come to the end of the questions to the Premier for the day. Honorable Premier, thank you very much for all the response, and that you will make sure that that question of Honorable Sibihwe is in writing and you know how to process it. Thank you very much, Premier. You can take your seat. Thank you, honorable members. This brings us to the end of today's business. The sitting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker.